Alright, another day, another night of distracting myself from the various problems in my life by playing World of Warcraft. Let's see what I can complain about today. The WoW token? Did I tell them so, by the way, yet this week? You see, back during the re-release of Classic, Blizzard made something of a little promise that... what am I doing with my life? I've been in this cycle for 20 years now. 2 decades of putting things off. I could have spent all that time making mad games, learning skills, exploring the world. A real world filled with possibility and excitement. You know what? It all ends today. I think it's about time to be responsible and take a break from that addiction. And replace it with another. For the very first time, I'm going to be playing RuneScape. But I still told you so, by the way. I'll be honest, I missed the boat on this one. My MMO footprint in the early days was first Phantasy Star on the Xbox, but it was offline because at the time I couldn't convince my parents to let me buy the Hunter's license, which was the subscription fee that allowed you to play with other players. After that, I stepped foot into the one and only, probably what many people consider to be the greatest MMO of all time, Star Wars Galaxies. And then there's this other one that I kind of messed around with casually for 20 years and made 600 videos about it. I don't know. It was bad. For those of you familiar with the channel, you know that I'm a depressed classic Andy. Aside from desperately trying to recapture a time of my life when it was much better, there's a certain innocent charm to the classic MMO style that's always appealed to me. So when I heard that old school RuneScape was launching, as someone who yearned for the good old days, I was a bit envious. Apparently not enough to actually play it though, which brings us to today in 2024, where for the first time I'm going to play old school RuneScape and share my impressions on it as a lifelong World of Warcraft addict. Those of you who watched my Jimmy React a few months back might remember I was planning on making this anyways. The second thing I'll say is that this is all completely blind. When I say I've never played it before, not only have I never played it, I've never even watched videos on it. No streams, nothing, aside I guess from Jimmy's video about RuneScape and nostalgia. And additionally, I have decided that I'm only going to use whatever in-game resources I have to figure things out. But being a professional gamer, I don't anticipate in having any problems. Right? So the first thing I noticed, and that any Azeroth native will notice, is that there's no class selection, which may seem foreign, but as far as I know, this was more common during the pre-WoW era. Yeah, that's right. It was so popular that it splits the entire genre into before and after. Interesting to note though, that there are no alts. It's just one account, one character. In fact, there isn't even a permanent realm selection, and players are free to switch about, kind of like layer hopping from World of Warcraft. Yeah, I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to WoW, by the way, if you haven't guessed that. Hopefully it's not too annoying, but I kind of played it for 2 decades, so it's just sort of how my brain works now. Speaking of being in WoW mentality, the first thing I did was swipe my credit card. RuneScape runs on a free-to-play model with no cash shops, but limited, where certain quests and items are locked to memberships, which is the subscription fee. I actually canceled my WoW sub though. I'm quitting forever again, if you didn't hear yet. So my mom was cool with, I was cool with subscribing to this one instead. The only things you choose during character creation is your name and appearance. Glad to see that they have the World of Warcraft streamer haircut. As you're probably aware, this is an isometric MMORPG, meaning that you click to move from a top-down view, similar to what was at that point another popular MMO, Ultima Online. And just to put things into perspective here, RuneScape was originally released in January of 2001, so the landscape of popular MMOs right now, at least in the West, would be games like Ultima Online, EverQuest. It's still the early internet era. Most families are sharing one computer, which is probably running on AOL and is infested with viruses because somebody keeps visiting these scandalous websites. There's no YouTube nor Twitch. Guide websites are sparse and poorly done. and the most you had really was your own wit and fellow players to guide you. So that's the mindset I'm going to be trying to replicate. And in fact, I won't even look at the comments of this video, so if you guys call me a monotone fuck, you'll probably get away with it. So there's this NPC at the start of the game to teach you the ropes, so naturally I ignore him, and the first thing I do is go Elder Scrolls mode and attempt to steal everything that isn't nailed down. But unfortunately, much like how I feel on the inside, everything is empty. Okay, well, what's the point of this? Ooh, here's this big chest. I bet you want to click on it and get all the loot. Oh, just kidding. You bastards. Oh wait, this is a sponsored video? Oh, I mean, that's a really good way to teach you that you can click on things in the environment. This is Tutorial Island, the very start of the game where the entire goal is to teach you how to play. Here you learn the basics. Right outside you're taught how to fish. World first 300 fishing in the recreation of a 15-year-old video game, by the way. How to cut down trees, and how to start a fire to cook the fish, which when consumed heals you. Yeah, food is the way of healing yourself. They went the Elder Scrolls route where you down 30 cheese wheels in between swings and you're good to go.
You gotta eat the lettuce, just straight up eat the lettuce.
The game operates on a skill system where by doing these things you get better at doing these things. The more you fish, the higher level areas you can fish, the better fish you catch, which heal you more. The more you lumberjack, the better at lumberjacking you are. Yeah, I know, it's a total ripoff of New World. This is what we call a sandbox. In BW, this was the standard of the genre. Players would be thrust into this giant world. They were given little direction and were just told to go get 'em, champ. Is a subgenre where the world is your oyster, and though you have little direction, that means you also have more freedom. And it was only AW when the magic formula was found, and all of this shifted towards theme park and linearity. So you learn how to cook, how to mine, smelt, craft, melee combat, ranged combat, magics. All pretty straightforward. Melee combat has some stuff going on with stances, which gives you different XP, depending on which one you pick. You have offensive styles, defensive styles, and considering I'm a Zug, I'm mainly interested in increasing that damage, so I'm just going to hang out in the plus sword icon so my damage increases. Right. Beyond the skill system, you're taught how to use all of the other features expected from an MMO, such as quests, how to use the bank. The latter is where you learn about the poles. Even if you haven't played old school RuneScape, you've probably heard about this. This is the game's Classic Plus, but instead of releasing features where players stay in one area and do the same quests over and over to go from level 40 to 50 in the span of 5 hours while earning 1,500 gold, these features are released with the intent to maintain the spirit of vanilla RuneScape. So how it works is that the developers present these features and the community as a whole votes on them, and if they pass a certain threshold, they will be developed into the game. And I'm sure this polling system isn't perfect, but I think that the communities of these games are too often disregarded, and while the customer isn't always right, there's still value to be drawn from the neckbeard hive mind that have been hopelessly addicted to your game. So those are the major updates, but from what I'm to understand, it does also get updated weekly. Some of them can be as minor as balance updates, and as major as entire new continents or systems, one of which is Ironman mode, where if you talk to this NPC just outside, you can enable permanent character death. That's all well and good, but probably not a good idea for my first character, so I'm gonna save that for another time maybe. So, wait, what the fuck? And with that, you depart Tutorial Island, and you're off into the great beyond. You're given a little direction in the form of adventure paths where, by leveling up some core skills, you're given items and gold and gear to start you off until you get a good footing on the game. I'm given a set of iron armaments, and I'm off to find my first quest. Opening the map, I find just how huge the world is. The starting town here is called Lumbridge, which, when fully zoomed out, is a pale blue dot within the world of Gielinor, which is the medieval realm that RuneScape is based around, and wow, this is a big game with a lot going on. Looks like my map has herpes. Well, the only way to clear it is to clear it. I go to the nearest quest, indicated by these blue and white icons on the map, and I talk to this old man. His name's Vios, a treasure hunter from the wondrous kingdom of Great Korend. He has a treasure map and has tracked it down to the town of Lumbridge, so naturally he entrusts it to a stranger that he met 10 seconds ago. Yeah, my first quest isn't to kill 10 boars or collect cactus apples. It's a treasure hunt. You're given a scroll, and you're told to buy a shovel because Vios is also a cheap dick. We buy the shovel from a general store just nearby, and I use it as an opportunity to clear my inventory of my bad gear and learn the shop interface a bit. I decide to hold on to my pot for now, and I use the scroll to reveal the following message. Within the town of Lumbridge lives a man named Bob. He walks out of his door and takes 1 step east, 7 steps north, 5 steps west, and 1 step south. Once he arrives, he digs a hole and buries his treasure. I think about it for a bit, and I say, screw that, let's F up some goblins. Yeah, I think I might have ADHD, by the way, I don't know. I eventually regain my focus, and I scour the town for the elusive Bob, checking every house and mousing over every NPC for about 30 minutes, until I find out he was 5 steps away from my starting position near the graveyard. He's the axe salesman of the village. I follow the scroll's instructions, and I dig up a treasure scroll. It shows a map of a building where X marks the spot, and opening the in-game map, I find pretty quickly that it's the castle right where you were left in Lumbridge, and wandering behind it near the X and digging a little bit, I find a mysterious orb that's cold to the touch. Bringing it to Vios, he tells me that it's basically a game of hot and cold where the closer you are to the treasure, the hotter the orb becomes, and this is pretty intense for a first quest. I mean, it's not necessarily complicated or anything, but it's just such a stark contrast to how babied gamers are these days. You know, games that are advertised as grand adventures lead you around step by step with yellow paint, deathly afraid of players getting lost and having to use their brain to figure stuff out. And as it happens to turn out, I can't figure this quest out. I followed the orb to this building surrounded by these dudes who are angry at the world because they're bald. And what the F? I can't fight them. I could fight everything else. Why can't I fight these guys? I try running past them, and I enter the sewers that has even more stuff I can't click on. So I just figure that maybe this is just a high-level quest that I happen to pick up that I have to come back to. I'm just going to kill some goblins for now. I did this for a while, in fact, to see if maybe I could level up more to fight the baldies. So I start leveling up my attack, which should result in me doing more damage. Right? I do take a break and explore a little bit. I see more quests around me, but in an effort to not overwhelm my primitive monkey brain and to also save my ego a bit, I don't want to immediately give up on the first effing quest I encountered in a genre of game I've been playing since my childhood. So I just kind of take in the sights and enjoy the music. Speaking of which, that's probably one of the most charming things about this game. I'm not really sure how to explain it. It sort of sounds like an 8th grade music student's project. If that music student was Mozart. I love it. The trumpets and the flutes, and it has this medieval composition, but it was made in a MIDI player. It's catchy, and despite the fact that this is my first time playing, it's oddly nostalgic. Combining that with the sound effects, the game's audio overall is S tier, in my opinion. I'm totally going to be using it in future videos. I decide to take a break from killing goblins and level up my fishing right near Lumbridge. I find some other players doing the same thing. I don't talk to them because I have social anxiety, and it's here where I realized that RuneScape is a great idle game. You just click on a spot to fish and then switch back to your trading card game shop simulator and stand in the corner ripping packs like a goblin while your minimum wage employees do all the work. Eventually I have enough of this and I head back into town for some more goblin slaying. Hey, I leveled up my attack. I bet this time I'll do 2 damage per swing now. Okay. Maybe another level or 2. I slay more goblins until I reach level 5, at which point I return to my adventure path NPC for my reward, which is a steel longsword. Okay, weapon upgrade. Now I'll definitely deal 1 damage? Okay, pardon my French here, but what the F? I go visit the Baldies again, who remain unimpressed by my meager progression. But hang on, this is the first quest. Clearly there's something I'm not getting. I give the orb a more thorough investigation, and I find that this isn't where the treasure is at all. Rather, it leads me to a nearby village, I dig once more to reveal another scroll that gives me a cipher. Ez Pizaps Kujikafo. I bring this back to Vios, who gives me a hint to shift the letters over once. I think about it for a while, try to puzzle it out, realize I'm too stupid, and go back to killing goblins. I level up my attack again, continue to deal 1 damage. I do this all the way until level 20, where I complete my last adventure path quest for attack, and I get this amazing mithril sword, crafted from the heart of a volcano held within the lands of... and I'm still dealing 1 damage. Cool. Whatever, I'm chilling. I got my trading card game running, waiting for the next Pokemon lawsuit. For a little variety, I decide to switch grinding spots. I start attacking higher level enemies in the swamp, which actually deal damage to me now, so I need to be stocked on heals. But that's not a problem because there's a fishing spot nearby, so it's a nice cozy little grinding spot where I'm leveling up my combat, fishing, cooking, and logging all at once. I figure the best thing I can do is focus on my adventure path, so now that I've maxed out attack, despite only dealing 1 damage still, I switch to defense so I can make the grind a little bit more hands-free so I can focus on more important things. I get my defense to 15 doing this, and decide to switch up my stances again, so now I'm getting strength levels, and oh my god. I'm dealing 2 damage. Oh my god, I'm dealing 2 damage. Okay, so before you make fun of me, let's just get this straight for a moment. Upgrading a skill called attack level and equipping higher level weapons in a role-playing game doesn't increase your damage. I don't know, maybe they said this in the tutorial. I'm a warrior main. Reading isn't really my strong suit. Speaking of which, I've realized I've been grinding here for about 5 hours, and I just now realized that there's a quest right next to me. There's this couple who barely escaped an island with their lives. Apparently there's a murderer running afoot, and they're asking me to rescue their friend. So now that I'm dealing 2 damage per hit, I'm feeling pretty cocky. I load up on healing items, and I depart to what seems like a Scooby-Doo mansion. There's an NPC outside, and wait, what the F? A cutscene? The villain from the Scream movies walks up behind him and gives him an aggressive back scratch, and he has a Mustafa-esque drawn-out death, and he very conveniently drops a key to the mansion in a barrel in front of him. Gaining access to the mansion, I'm ready to F stuff up. Full inventory of healing items, dealing 2 damage, and it's another puzzle. There are a bunch of doors with colored knobs that you have to figure out how to open. But despite my previous failure, I do have some measure of confidence, being a lifetime survival horror fan. The environment's very Resident Evil-esque, so let's just give it a shot here. Trying the pink door, we witness another murder. The killer taunts you by leaving a clue for you to solve. Isn't murder a work of art? Beautiful, yet haunting, like the blade of a knife, as we wander through the Valley of Death. There's a knife on the table just entering the mansion, and there are a few paintings placed around, so my guess is that you have to cut them open. Because I do have the problem-solving skills of a child, I'm correct. In the room right next door, there's a painting of a valley, and upon using the knife, we get the red key, which grants us access to a room with a broken wall and a barrel of gunpowder. So, obviously we have to light it. I search the crates to no avail. The next room has some wardrobes, which I saw the killer use to travel, but they're all empty. And I'm stumped for a few minutes until I pan my camera to see that there's a shelf of tinder approximately 1 foot away from the barrel. And I also had tinder in my inventory the whole time. But it's not that easy. The balls are inert. I mean, the fuse is damp, and it won't light. I try to light a campfire on top of it, and talk about World of Warcraft in an attempt to dry it out, but it doesn't seem to work. Eventually I find that there are unlit candles in the room, and lighting them all warms the room up enough for the fuse to be lit. Apparently the roaring fire right on top of it wasn't enough, but okay, suppose that makes sense. So we blow a hole in the wall and progress to witness another murder. He leaves yet another note, which reads, "It's like music to my ears, the glorious sounds spelling out your fate." This part was pretty easy, honestly. There's a piano nearby, and I spell out the only thing that makes sense, D-E-A-D. I do play a bit of piano. I have very dexterous fingers. Ladies. In fact, the background music you're listening to right now is by yours truly, so please compliment me, even though I won't see it because I'm not going to read comments. But by solving this puzzle, it opens up a compartment in the piano that gives you the green key, which grants access to another room where we witness another murder. The note this time reads, "Hear at first these words, Each murder you witness helplessly from start to end. As you fail to solve the final letters of this quiz, razor sharp like a gemstone is the blade of my knife. The last sound you will hear will be of your scream's echo. Heed that I will have the final word in this thriller. Immediately I noticed that the first letter of each line spell out hearth, so I know it has something to do with the fireplace. There are 3 of them that I can reach, and I interact with them in every way, but nothing really seems to work. Have you ever played escape games and you get desperate enough to where you just randomly try combining objects? Aha! It must be the rubber chicken with the clock. Well, I tried that. I tried to light the unlit fireplace. I tried the fish. I tried dousing the others. I was stumped for a good while until, after reading the note for the 50th time, I took notice to this line. Razor sharp like a gemstone is the blade of my knife, so I try the knife with the fireplace, and lo and behold, a switch panel is revealed with 6 gemstones. A diamond, onyx, zenite, ruby, sapphire, and emerald. Looking at the note once more, the answer lies within this line, as you failed to solve the final letters of this quiz. S for sapphire, D for diamond, Z for zenite, E for emerald, O for onyx, and R for ruby. So clicking these in that order reveals the final key, where you face off mano a mano against the killer in a form of another puzzle. You're in a room with 4 wardrobes and a movable mirror, and he throws daggers from the wardrobes. Pretty simple, as you probably guessed. You push the mirror to reflect the daggers back at him. Upon victory, you come to realize that he is a she. The culprit this whole time was the quest giver, who has a hatred for adventurers and their main character syndrome. The guy she was with was also in on it, and they're about to gank you until they get into an argument, which distracts them long enough for what we thought was another victim to stab them with the sword of 1,000 truths. And that's it. As a reward, you get a quest point, XP, some gems, and this was awesome. As far as the standards are for MMOs, even today, this was one of the coolest quests I've ever done. Like I said, I didn't look anything up, so I was feeling rather proud of myself for my accomplishment of elementary puzzle solving. But that, along with the cutscenes, it was presented very well, and this would be a theme for the rest of my gameplay, I would find. As I continued to level my strength and started dealing more than 1 damage, I revisited Lumbridge and went on a questing orgy. I exorcised a ghost, I slayed a vampire, I saved a guy from being turned into a chicken, and I found a magic sword and slayed a demon. Some quests were easy, some took hours to figure out, and others stumped me completely. Like this one where I'm supposed to find this cat. I found her, but the bastard won't let me pick her up. Her kittens are mewing in these crates, but no matter how many times I try, I can't pick it up. And the quest NPCs don't really give me any information, and I'm stumped, I'll be honest. You know, Jimmy made a video a while back saying how RuneScape doesn't need nostalgia, and that it stands on its own 2 feet. And I know that I've only really scratched the surface here, but I gotta say that I agree. The world is huge. The little quests I've done are some of the most interesting and fun that I've played in MMOs, even by today's standards. As it turns out, there's like this huge series scene with RuneScape on YouTube, and I definitely understand why now. The quests in this game actually have something to them. Isn't that the most serious thing in the world, but there are these narratives and storylines, and even if they are silly, they feel like adventures and they're quite memorable. The music is awesome, the systems and skills are interesting and unique, and the game just oozes charm from every orifice, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. They weren't jagging off when they made this. It's not perfect, nothing ever is. I feel like the traveling at times can get really laborious. You see, you have something of a stamina meter right here in the top right, which depletes when you run. And when it's out, you walk, and you walk very slowly. I know why it's done. It's the same as with no flying in Old Azeroth. It's to make the world seem big, and the world does seem big in this game. I'm not even saying that it's a flaw, but sometimes I do find myself getting bored traveling from point A to point B.
3 days later. 3 weeks later. Many months later.
I'm sure there are ways to improve it. I know that you can teleport if you level up magic, or maybe if you run naked or something, it drains slower, or maybe there's an item or a potion that you can get or craft, but as someone who's trying to not look anything up, I personally have not found it yet. The game also has bonds, which are the equivalent of the WoW token. You buy them with gold and use them to gain membership time, or you can buy them with real money and then sell them for gold in the auction house. So there is a paid element here. Those of you who've watched, I don't know, one video on my channel probably know I don't care for stuff like this. Told you so, by the way. I think it kind of defeats the purpose of an RPG if you're able to buy progression. It sort of feels like the most efficient way to progress is with your wallet instead of your time, which isn't as satisfying. I guess I don't care about it as much in RuneScape because I'm not emotionally attached to it like I am with WoW, for one, but also just because I'm not familiar with it really. Like in Classic, it's really bad because combined with GDKPs and arena carries, you can literally buy the best gear in the game with your credit card. It's like, are there even raids in RuneScape? Do they have the best gear? Are there GDKP runs? Is the PvP competitive? I don't know, I just can't imagine watching a RuneScape PvP video and being like, oh my god, bro, did you see how he switched from lunge to slash? That was some top tier shit.
Wake me up inside. Wake me up inside.
I don't know. So that's probably up in the air depending on how you play or what you care about. I guess for me at this stage in the game, I don't really see it affecting me. But all in all, it's a fun game. I'm kind of addicted, actually. I even got it on my effing phone. This could be a series if you guys like it enough. I would say let me know, but like I said, I'm not going to look at the comments of this video, but I don't know, we'll see. What I do know is that it has a lot of charm, and from a lifelong World of Warcraft player, it gets my seal of approval. And it came at a good time because I recently broke up with my girlfriend, so I see no better option than to spend my time being a depressed middle-aged man grinding goblins in the recreation of a 20-year-old video game. Worry not, denizens of Lumbridge. I, the Monotone Madness, am here to protect you. Oh shit, oh my god. I didn't mean to attack you. I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? Die, peasant. Alright, so it looked like you guys liked the RuneScape video. Like I said in the last episode, I'm not reading any comments because I want to operate in this game the same I do as in real life. Blind, clueless, and devilishly handsome. But luckily we have a metric that's more important than your guys' thoughts and critique, and that's views and ad revenue. Well, I like playing it, and I also have nothing better to do, so it's a pretty mutually beneficial relationship all around, I'd say. First though, we have some managerial-like business to take care of, so I'm going to ask you to take a seat right over there. You know how in MMOs you always kind of have this soft spot for your first character? It's the start of a journey, not only for your avatar, but for you as well. It's the beginning of what is, for some, multiple decades of adventures and memories that are more valuable than any item that you could possibly obtain in the game. And I got to share my first steps, being chased off by the Baldies, my failure in elementary grade puzzle solving, and my befuddlement of dealing 1 effing damage despite increasing a skill called attack level to 20 and equipping multiple weapon upgrades. As challenged as I and my character is, he's already earned a special place in my heart. And I regret to inform you that I've Thanos snapped him out of existence like the worthless bitch he is. And the reason for that is, as I've been informed by my friend, that for the first time in my life, I've made a mistake. Apparently, Ironman mode in the world of RuneScape is different than in World of Warcraft. And for the former, it just means that you can't trade with anyone else or use the auction house, meaning that you also can't use the WoW token. I told you so, by the way. So I figured that if this is going to be a series, and if I'm going to be doing it with no guides, and if it's going to be long, it may as well be hard. So I'm going to call that first video the prelude, or episode 0, and this will be the true beginnings, episode 1. In fact, we're not even stopping there. Because we are hardcore in real life, we will also be a hardcore Ironman, which has the same restrictions aside from only having 1 life. Yeah, go ahead and let that jaw drop to the floor. But before you get too excited, if you die as a hardcore Ironman, it's not over. You just get downgraded to a softcore Ironman. So I figured that I may as well give it an attempt. There's really nothing to lose. And on the very small chance that I do die, the series will continue as just a normal Ironman. So it kind of sucks to start over, but I figure that it's not too bad as it is the very start of the game. I think if I don't do this now, I'll regret it later on down the line. I understand that this may upset some of you, and I just wanted you to know that the best place to air these frustrations is in the comments, because I'm not reading that shit. Oh god. So let's take this opportunity to officially set the rules. It's basically the same as in episode 0. I know next to nothing about RuneScape, and I plan to keep it that way, so I will be building a wall around myself. This may result in me getting stuck, but considering I grinded rank 14 in the recreation of a 15-year-old video game, I think I've earned the right to say that I'm persistent, or that I have absolutely zero life. The only exception is that I do have a friend acting as a middleman. He'll be reading me non-spoiler related comments that you guys make, like my mistake with Ironman, for instance. And as an extension to all of this, I've also turned off all in-game chat to avoid any form of social interaction. I mean, spoilers. And for 2, there's just one win condition. I will complete the game. And for me, that means that I will attempt to complete every single quest within this quest log. So that's about it. I do want to do some backtracking. In episode 0, since I didn't know if this was going to be a series or not, I kind of skipped and sped through some of the other quests. Unfortunately, I am missing footage for some, so I'll have to recreate those with my Ironman character, so excuse any inconsistencies because we'll kind of switch between characters here for a bit for the first couple of episodes, but it shouldn't be too bad. I'll let you know when my Ironman has surpassed my first character. So as my primitive monkey brain becomes strained attempting to figure out this cipher, I dispose of what little pride I have remaining and look for another quest. A lot of them I don't even have the requirements for, but I do find some luck within the castle kitchen in Lumbridge with the cook's assistant quest. It's the Duke's birthday and there's a problem. The chef needs help baking a cake and he tasks you to find him the ingredients. Okay, as long as you don't give me a goddamn cipher to solve to figure out where to buy them. He needs eggs, flour, and milk. All pretty common items and easy to find, it seems. Aside from the milk, I guess, because my dad went to get some 20 years ago and he hasn't come back yet, so that might provide a challenge. But he is kind enough to give instructions. The flour you can get from the northwest at a mill. The milk you get from eggs in a farm across the river. So I go across the river and I go through a gate that requires a toll. Fucker didn't mention that, did he? He didn't mention the toll you had to pay. Oh, wait a second. Music changed. Okay, hang on. Let's investigate this area more first. I have a feeling this is a Dark Souls situation where you can either go to the Undead Burg or the skeletons that'll F you up.
Ah, my fucking menu wouldn't close. Oh. Okay. That's great.
Talking to Gilly, she says that you need to use a bucket on a dairy cow in order to get the milk. You can get milk from the cows with just one teat, but it takes way longer and you only get a few squirts, so I definitely recommend sticking to the ones with 4. So I get the milk, I get an egg, I get some flour. It's still tutorial territory, essentially, and teaching you how containers work and how to use items to interact with the environment, but it's all pretty simple, honestly, and there's not much to say. Really, the toughest thing is just the traveling. It's a huge limiting factor, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Well, I mean, I kinda do because I'm impatient, but I also don't. In other games, like World of Warcraft, for example, movement is a pretty important part of character progression. As you play, you unlock more flight paths, so you don't have to walk on foot. At 40, you can get a mount. At 60, you get a faster mount. 70, a flying mount. Or maybe you're playing a mage who can learn teleport spells as they level, and so on. When most people think of character progression, they think of the fundamental stuff like leveling, gear, economy. But world negotiation is often overlooked and disregarded as not having a lot of nuance. And in RuneScape, even with my limited experience, I can already tell how important it is. If you take a look at your magic spells, you'll see by leveling it, you can unlock teleports to other cities and there are various shortcuts placed about which require a skill called agility. So I will definitely take time to level it up, because looking at my character walk slower than my grandparents have sex is starting to annoy me. In fact, if you're wondering why I don't have armor in this moment, I unequipped it as an experiment to see if it expends my stamina more slowly. Spoiler alert, it doesn't, at least from what I can tell, and you just kind of have to deal with it for now. But I digress. The reward is a quest point and some cooking XP. 1 down, 488 to go. The quest points are important, it seems. Later on we run into a quest that requires a certain amount of quest points to even start, so it's not just a bragging rights sort of thing. And he has a follow-up quest where he reveals that he was lying this entire time, and the first quest was merely a test. So he's just a big fat phony.
A great big phony! That's right, a phony lives here! A big fat phony!
You know what? It does make me angry. Do you know how many one-teat cows I milked for you? It turns out he's the descendant of a great chef named Franisard van Lumcook. You know what I just realized? One of the things I like about this game? It has a charm that's very similar to The Secret of Monkey Island, which also happens to be one of the greatest games of all time, by the way. In that game, you didn't move as slow as pig shit. So he was the chef for the Lumbridge nobles, and he was good enough that he and all of his descendants were given jobs as chefs for the rest of eternity. But as it turns out, this guy sucks and he needs you to cook for him. But considering that the most advanced dish I've ever made were Hot Pockets, I would say that he's barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, see? Even the game knows it. So to continue this quest, I need to level what I assume is my cooking skill, to which I say, screw that, let's kill some goblins. I desperately try to avoid spending brain power to solve the cipher by looking for another quest. I found 2 others on the 2nd floor, one that I also don't have the requirements for yet, and the other one is called Rune Mysteries, where I'm tasked with delivering a talisman to a mage named Cedrador in the tower west of Lumbridge. He says that it's no ordinary talisman, and that it's key to finding the lost essence mine. To cast spells in the game, you need these runes, and to craft them, you need this special essence, according to him. But the spell to teleport to the mines were lost in a battle with the evil god of chaos, Zamorak. Apparently, this talisman is key to regaining access to the mines, and considering that I don't want my character to walk as slow as molasses in the entire game, I do want to level my magic, so this seems like a pretty important quest. He sends me to a man named Aubrey within a city called Varek to deliver the talisman. This is the first big city in the game, and that's all well and good, but I'm ready for a little action. It's kind of weird. I've been playing an MMO and I'm getting all of these quests, and I've yet to get one where you just kill 10 goblins or something. There has to be something along those lines. So I hearth back to Lumbridge and I look for more quest icons. The first area I search is the church, which has a quest, but it warns me that I'm not ready for the smoke yet. My combat level is a little too low, so I grind some goblins for a while. Oh, I just love those sounds. It sounds like I'm beating a Furby. So at this point, I still haven't figured out the strength dynamic, so I'm still dealing 1 damage to everything. I checked the adventure path, which suggests to farm the barbarians in the northern village to level up. Alright, seems reasonable. Been killing these goblins for a while, so I feel like I'm ready for a little bit more challenge. There's no way that a tutorial aimed for beginners would send me to somewhere that I shouldn't go to get me killed. Oh my god! Oh, fucking bullcorn. So just so you guys don't have to do it, I decided to die intentionally to kind of show you how death works in this game. So when you die, you drop a selection of items on your corpse, which is pretty brutal if you died in an area with hostile enemies and you're now naked. I'm just going to chalk this down to an early MMO thing. Star Wars Galaxies actually had the same system, but it was way worse because the planets were absolutely huge and you could spawn an hour away from your corpse depending on where you died. So it's not as bad here because I spawned just a couple minutes away, and I also died to a neutral level 5 goblin, so we're good. In an act of revenge, I decide to slaughter an entire village of goblins, including the gob women and the gob children. I hate them! I do this for a while, in fact, And I also do that grinding spot I mentioned in episode 0 in the swamp. I eventually start dealing more than 1 damage, and we do that mention quest that we already went over. So now at this point, my combat level is buffed up, as is my ego and confidence. I return to the church where I'm told that a ghost has been haunting the graveyard of Lumbridge, and I'm asked to exorcise it in the Restless Ghost quest. I'm told to seek the aid of a colleague who lives in the swamp. So luckily for me, because I've been grinding here, I know this area like the back of my penis. His name is Father Ernie, who lives in this small hut. He's not willing to exorcise the ghost himself, but he helps us by giving an amulet that lets us talk to spirits. So I hearth back to Lumbridge despite it being 20 steps away because I need instant gratification. And it turns out he's haunting the town because he was buried without his head, and that a warlock who lives at the wizard tower took it. So we're off to the tower to get some head. Here, let me ask this NPC. Oh my god! Okay, I feel like that's a trap in this game, where they have these friendly looking NPCs in friendly areas that you attack when you click on them. 4 damage? Are you joking? What the F? Okay, now that I've expended all of my heals, I go all around the watchtower. I see skulls all over the place, but I can't click on them, so I assume that these are the wrong ones. Eventually I check out the basement and I see that there's one on the altar, so that's probably it. Oh, are you kidding me? I just used all of my heals on that one wizard. Alright, you boner. Taste my wrath. Oh yeah, 4 damage, baby. Thirst for blood, bring it. Okay, good. Okay, beautiful gameplay. Yeah, face the Grand Marshal. Rank 14, bitch. I'm dying. On my way back to deliver the skull, I encounter a group of adventurers in search of the lost city of Xanarkand. Some of them are more pliable for information than the others, but they aren't too welcoming in competition. It says that there's a quest icon here, so clearly I'm missing something, but I feel like I exhausted every dialogue option, so either I'm dumb or this is something I have to unlock for later, or maybe it's a quest chain. I'm really not sure. But I return the head to the ghost, and he turns into the Tasmanian Devil, and that's another quest complete. As a reward, I get some prayer XP, and I get to keep the amulet, which lets me talk to spirits, which I assume is going to be critical throughout the game, so I bank it for now. And I'm feeling pretty untouchable at this point. I run into a farmer named Fred who needs help shearing his sheep, and it's at this point where I realize just how limited the bag space is in this game. You know what it reminds me of, you guys? It kind of reminds me of World of Warcraft, and I can't help but wonder if there's a way to get a bigger bag. This whole quest is another trudge because not only do you have to get the wool, but you also have to spin it, and the nearest loom is in the castle, so as simple as it is, it's a bit laborious. I feel like it's unfair that I had to sit and watch my character slowly crawl his way around Lumbridge, so I decided that I'm going to subject you to the same thing, and we'll just kind of talk about something random. I have been told that some of you have been asking for me to stream this, and I kind of like the idea, but I also kind of dislike it. And the reason for that is a large draw to this for me is that I get to experience it blind. Oh, good girl. Do you want attention? Okay, go away now. I'm sure that many of you can relate to enjoying a game or a movie or a TV show or really any form of media so much that you wish you could erase your memory of it and experience it with fresh eyes once more. There are a few games that come to mind for me with that sentiment, so I feel like I'm in a really unique position at this point, considering that this game is 2001, it's 23 years old, nearly 24, and this is my first time playing it. And I think if I were to stream it, people in a very innocent and helpful manner, mind you, would essentially spoil it for me by telling me how to do the quests and how systems work and do this and do that. And while I do appreciate the helpful intentions, I definitely want to preserve and discover all of this on my own, even if that means that I do 1 damage for the first 12 hours of gameplay. Anyways, as a reward, we rack up another quest point and some crafting XP and 60 coins. I seem to exhaust Lumbridge of quests at this point, so I take a look at my map and I see that there's some over at a nearby village called Draenor. Oh god, not this game too. Here I encounter a man named Morgan who says that the town is being terrorized by a vampire who lives in a nearby mansion. At night when they're sleeping, he sucks them of their blood, and he asks me to slay it in the Vampire Slayer quest. He tells me to seek the aid of his friend, Dr. Harlow, who can be found in the inn in Varrock, making 2 quests to take care of in that city. I wonder if there's a quest to direct a mainstream vampire slaying movie starring Selma Hayek, who plays a stripper who pours champagne down her leg for the protagonist to drink from her foot, and then to cast yourself as that protagonist. I wonder how many quest points that gives. I also encounter a pirate named Captain Tok, who says that his crew has suddenly become lazy, and he's determined that this is the doing of a curse. This is the Corsair Curse quest. He asks me to meet him at Rimington, which I'm vaguely suspicious is some sort of sexual invitation. So I of course sprint there as fast as I can, only to find out that it's just a boat trip to the other side of the continent, which is great, but I figure I still have a lot to do over here, so I retreat back and decide to just visit Varrock and do the vampire quest instead. Hey, do you know where I can find... Oh my fucking god! Well, it's a good thing that guards don't really care if you murder people in their town. So the doctor tells me what everyone already knows about vampires. To kill them, you need a hammer from a general store and a wooden stake, which he provides, and also some garlic that you can find back at Morgan's house. Well, thanks for not telling me about the garlic, Morgan. Thanks for wasting my effing time. So I gather up the required items, I head to the mansion. Just outside there's a woman who says her fiance went inside hours ago to ask for directions and he's yet to return, so she asked me to go check things out in the Ernest the Chicken quest, making this a twofer. Ah, a dining room. So we got another Scooby-Doo mansion. Oh god, there are no enemies. This is going to be another puzzle, isn't it? Oh wait, there's a zombie here actually. And a rubber tube, that's probably important. And some poison. Ah, we have to give Dracula a poison enema. The door's locked, so I leave it for now. And I pick up the poison based solely on the goblin principle, as it's worth a whopping 685 gold. And I enter this room adjacent to another with seemingly no entrance. And this is where watching Scooby-Doo as a kid pays off. You know when the gang walks by an object that's very obviously highlighted compared to the rest of the background? That's your clue that that crap is going to move and there's going to be some doucher that's going to peek his head out. So I immediately investigate the highlighted bookcases to reveal a secret passage with a dungeon. Oh no, it's another puzzle, dude. Are you effing kidding me? So there are 6 levers in the room that open and close these certain gates. And on the other side of the final gate is an oil can, which I have no immediate use for, but again, I assume it's important, so I use each lever and I carefully study which gates they open, and through the process of elimination, I methodically... No, just kidding, I just randomly pulled them for about 20 minutes until I luck out. Alright, what do we have here? What the hell? Sergeant Damien? Sir, yes sir? Wait, what? Exercise mats? Someone please tell me what the F is going on. Okay, so I should explain something at this point. Every now and then, these NPCs will show up and offer you these optional bonus missions for rewards. One is a maze, another is a chest where you have to match the icons with the words. Another one, you hit these pinball pins, or some you simply answer a question or talk to them. And you also have this one where you're in some sort of demon boot camp and you have to follow the drill sergeant's instructions and perform the correct exercises. And I don't know this for sure, but it seems to me that this is some form of bot control because they're quite simple and almost impossible to fail. Except for the maze, I failed that one. And they just feel very CAPTCHA-esque. So I don't know if any of this is true, but if it is, it's actually amazing and a pretty creative way to control cheating in your game without breaking immersion or hassling the player in negative ways. You don't have to do them. If you just ignore them, they go away, and I'm not sure if there is a penalty for that because I talk to them every time, because you get some good rewards if you do participate, like potions and stuff. Maybe this is because I come from World of Warcraft, which seemingly has little to no anti-botting countermeasures because Blizzard is a small indie game dev, but I'm honestly stunned and kind of pissed off at the same time. Why the F doesn't Classic do something like this? Come on. This is some bullcrap. Anyways, I get a camo top for my troubles, which is just a cosmetic. See? It's right here. So I go down the stairs right next to me to find our original objective, the vampire. And I am bodying this kid. Like, it's pathetic. I guess grinding goblins for 20 hours pays off, huh? I'm twinked out of my mind right now. As a reward, we get 3 quest points and some attack XP, which puts me at 27. Outside, I find a grave, so I grab a nearby shovel to uncover a Draenor skull. Again, not sure if I need it, but it seems important, so I just go ahead and pick it up. And I also find a key from a nearby compost heap, and there's also this fountain with a pressure gauge in it, which once more I assume is important, but I can't interact with it because it's filled with aggressive piranha. Alright, whatever. Let's try this key on that door from earlier.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
Yeah, screw you, buddy. Go eat a Jill sandwich or something. The zombie is as equally trivial as the vampire. I pick up my enema supplies, and I check out the second floor, where I open a wardrobe to find a Blizzard fan waiting for Classic Plus. Ah, fish food. Let's take it to the fountain. Wait, what the F? They locked the front door. Now I need to go all the way around again. You know, this is really just the toughest part of the game. At least it's click to move, so I can at least do other things while my character figures out a route to his destination. Alright, feed the fish. Wait, it didn't work? I bet you have to poison the food first. Okay, well, maybe I should have thought of that. Go crawl back to the food. Crawl back to the entrance. Oh, you bastard. This better be important, that's all I'm gonna say. So we climb up to the 3rd floor to encounter a mad scientist who says that he's turned the missing fiancé into a chicken, and to change him back he needs all of the reagents that I already have because I'm a rank 14, world first 300 fishing, world first blood seal admiral, and the recreation of a 15-year-old video game god tier gamer. Bam. Game. Blouses. 400 quest points, 300 coins, and a little ego stroke for good measure. So at this point, I'm pretty confident in myself again. I'm dealing more than 1 damage, got a few quests under my belt, and there's no possible way that anything could go wrong. Right? Now if I can only find a way to figure out this effing cipher. Wait. What the F? Old school RuneScape for many is considered to be one of the greatest MMOs of all time, and I've started a quest to see just why that is. Having primarily played World of Warcraft for the past 2 decades, I have the privilege to be able to play RuneScape from a completely blind perspective, and I'm challenging myself by attempting to complete every quest in the game in Ironman mode without the use of guides. Today, I offer you a glimpse in the experience of a World of Warcraft transplant's first adventure in the world of RuneScape. As Pazops Quidjikafo. You know what? As Pazops Quidjikafo. Fuck this. Oh, good. They've added another quest since I've started, so I'm actually making negative progress now. So before we begin today's episode, we have a bit of a history lesson. I once made a comment that this game looks like it was made for the N64. Just look at those polygons. It's that awkward period when games were first transitioning from 2D to 3D. Yeah, lose the squares. It's the era of the triangle. Any fellow dinosaurs out there will remember just how exciting of a time this was, watching their favorite franchises making the leap. What would our favorite characters look like? How would our favorite games play in a 3D space? How accurately could breast physics be simulated? It was the Pandora's box of the late 90s and early 2000s, and it ushered in a new era. The characters were actually starting to represent what they were supposed to look like, and the gap between concept art and in-game models had started to lessen. and breast physics could be accurately simulated. There's always this ongoing debate if video games are art or not, and today it's unquestionable. There's stories and worlds out there that have so much depth and nuance that they put even the most iconic movies and series to shame, such as Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. So the reason why I'm talking about all of this is that what you're looking at right now wasn't even the original form of this game, but rather this. Yeah, N64. Try NES. This was the very first form of RuneScape, launched in 1998 under the name Devious Mud, which would only be played by about 20 people, just barely eclipsing the current population of the Season of Discovery. This would eventually receive an upgrade to what people referred to as RuneScape Classic, and then after that, RuneScape 2, which is what OSRS is loosely based around. They would eventually have an HD texture pack, so they could more accurately simulate breast physics. And then finally, RuneScape 3, which is running alongside OSRS as we speak, and is apparently horrendously infested with microtransactions. Shoutouts to modern game design, by the way. You know, that's just really disgusting, because you know that money could actually go to a good cause, like feeding the homeless, providing shoes for Lithuanians, purchasing a membership on my channel. Anyways, history lesson over. In the last video, we made a cake, we milked some one-teat cows, we exorcised a ghost, rescued a fiancé, and slayed a vampire, all while paying my taxes. I head on over to the west to the White Knight's castle, where I'm offered a quest to defend females on the internet in hopes that they'll have sex with me. But apparently I don't yet meet the credentials because out of the 5 quests available, I can only start 1. All of the others say I don't meet the requirements, as I first need to be a moderator of a subreddit. It's at this point that I'm starting to second guess my ability to complete every quest without a guide if I can't even figure out how to start them. So here's a squire who lost his knight's sword. It was a family heirloom passed down by generations and made by a group of dwarves. I offer to try to track it down and ask them to make another, and I'm sent to someone named Reldo in Verak for more information. The quest warns me that I don't have the proper skill level for it yet. Gee, you know what would be helpful? Telling me what skill level I need to level so I have the information to level it. Well, I got a few quests in Verak anyways at this point, so I figured that's probably a good place to head to. Oh, and there's another quest on the way. Oh, Ah, that feeling of entering a big city filled with players after a long adventure sesh. You know what it reminds me of, you guys? It kind of reminds me of World of Warcraft. I think that the first time seeing a major city in any MMO is a pretty memorable moment. I remember the first time for me in World of Warcraft, it was Ironforge, and it was really interesting and cool to see all of the high levels and all of the people trading and interacting with each other. I thought to myself, wow, everyone here is a complete loser. I felt very much at home. Coming from Star Wars Galaxies, my first question was how to get the glowy weapons because they looked like lightsabers. And also advice on how to kiss your sister without it being weird. It was a pretty cool moment, and I'm sure for a lot of you out there, Verak was that city for you. It really hasn't hit me personally, but I think that's because I've just played the genre for so long it's not really that impressive anymore. And I'm also severely depressed. I will say that this game doesn't seem to be very social so far, which is good because the worst part of online multiplayer games are, of course, other players. This is partly my fault though, because the only message I've ever sent was gibberish because I was trying to figure out the keybinds. You ever get a whisper from someone that's cut off with a bunch of numbers and WASD? I love that crap. It means that while they were talking to you, they were ambushed by a monster, or that they were beaten by their significant other for playing too much World of Warcraft. I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. You shouldn't make jokes about domestic violence. There's just no tasteful punchline. I run into a woman who asks me to help her find her pussy. I eagerly oblige until I realize that she already has kids, at which point I ghost her. I've been complaining about the lack of information that you get with the quests, but luckily there is a log that you can check up on that summarizes what information you have gathered so far, including the requirements. It's how the old school RPGs did it. If you really want to go old school, you would bust out the pen and paper, but this style reminds me of Morrowind, where to figure out the quests, you would ask around town and your character would log it. Obviously, as time has gone on, the industry has realized that gamers today are as soft as my grandpa's pecker when Bob Barker was replaced in The Price is Right, so every objective is accompanied by waypoints and giant arrows directing you on where to go. A good comparison today is Skyrim versus Morrowind. It's really just sad how babied and impatient people are today. It's like they lack any sense of investigation or direction. Shit, I'm lost. Okay, this place is very large. I eventually run into a fortune teller. I wonder if she can predict that after a multi-million-dollar AAA video game developer betrays its player base by releasing paid level boosts after explicitly stating that they wouldn't, if they would also release the ability to purchase currency and, by extension, all forms of character progression. Told you so, by the way. So she says that she sees me wielding this legendary sword in the face of an evil demon named Delrith, who was thwarted 150 years ago by a knight named Wally, which is probably the most unheroic sounding name I've ever heard. Sorry to all of the Wallys out there. That your parents named you Wally. Evil mages are summoning him once more to destroy the city, just like how Alex Jones said. I don't like putting chemicals in the water that make the friggin' demons gay. She says that I'm destined to stop them, but in order to do so, I must first find a magic sword called Silverlight and also bulk up on some super male vitality so I can become more red. I also need to recite the spell. Alright, let me just go ahead and memorize this real quick. Apparently this sword as well has been passed down to a knight named Sir Prison who resides in the city's castle. There's a lot of passing down of heirlooms to younger generations in this game. The only thing that I got passed down was unresolved childhood trauma. Right outside, I encounter a man named Romeo, who is looking for a woman named Juliet. He has trouble mixing up words. What kind of idiot would do that? The milk you get from eggs in a farm across the river. He asks me to find her in Western Varrock in the Romeo and Juliet quest. Being a professional virgin, the quest to find love intimidates me more than the one to kill a city-destroying apocalyptic demon, so I decide to work on the latter first. But before getting all tangled up in that, we have that delivery quest from the Wizard's Tower, if you remember. So we find a man named Aubrey in the magic shop and deliver that talisman. Wait, from who?
Excuse me, shouldn't that be whom? Okay, you.
I deliver him the package, and he doesn't thank me nor tip, which gives me a surprisingly authentic DoorDasher experience. I search for Sir Prison in the castle, and I tell him that I need Silverlight in order to defeat Delrith, and he acquiesces, but there's a problem. The sword is held within a chest that's locked with 3 keys spread throughout the world. Well, actually, they're not spread throughout the world. It's a rather small area, in fact, but it just sort of feels like that because you move as slow as my grandparents have sex in this game. Just thought I'd bring that up in case I haven't already. 1 key was held by him, until he dropped it down the drain in the castle kitchen. Another is held by the Captain Guard Roven, and the last by a wizard named Trailborn who resides in the Wizard Tower, which isn't bad because I need to head back there anyway to make another delivery that I won't get tipped for. I find Reldo in the library, who, if you remember, we needed to ask about the dwarves to make another sword for the squire, and he says that they were wiped out by the barbarian invasion. They invaded their land and began colonizing it, and brutally murdered them with kindness by giving them free blankets that were infested with smallpox. He says that only a few exist and that you can find them by offering them red berry pie. He specifically guides me to a couple in a place called Asgarnia on the southern peninsula. And he also offers the Shield of Arav quest, where I have to find a special book within the library. I check every shelf until I pan my camera over. It's the one with the blue book. There was once a hero named Arav, whose shield was stolen from the Varrock Museum by a group called the Phoenix Gang. The king offered a bounty for its return, but to no avail, with the gang using its power to eventually become a large crime syndicate. Although Reldo doesn't know where the gang is, he sends me to someone who might, a fur trader named Barak in the marketplace. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good at this point. I have quite the selection of quests at my disposal, and I first decide to pursue the Demon Slayer because it seems to be the most interesting. Captain Roven just hands over the key after some convincing, and I head to the kitchen for the other. I can see it in the drain outside, so I fill a bucket with water and I pour it down to dislodge it, and then send it down into the sewers, the entrance to which can be found a ways to the south, and that's 2 keys down. Heading to the Wizard Tower, I first turn in the research notes to Cedrador, which unlocks the Essence Mine, and he tells me to just let him know whenever I need access, and he gives me some information on how to actually craft runes by taking the Air Talisman and some Essence to an altar south of Falador. Talking to Trailborn, he tells me that he has his key in a wardrobe that can only be summoned by using 25 sets of bones of people I've murdered, which is pretty metal. And highly annoying because I still haven't figured out how to increase my bag space. Alright, I know you're just doing your own thing, but I'm gonna need to take your life to make 1/25th progress for a quest that I'm trying to 4 damage? Okay, so seeing as how I don't have the heals nor patience for this, I instead kill wimpy goblins for the remaining 24, making a few trips in the process. And during this I find a teleporter to Xanarkand, which was the area that those adventurers were trying to find, but it says I need permission before I can use it. But I eventually get the key, and I'm ready for some demon slaying. I take them to prison, he gives me Silverlight, and I talk to the gypsy who sends me to the summoning circle south of the city. This is the most intricate quest I've encountered thus far, climaxing with an epic duel with this world-shattering demonic entity, and I one-shot him. Oh, hang on, let me consult my memory for the proper incantation. Yeah, get banished, idiot. Alright, what's my reward? Hey, the F? I didn't get a chance to read it. So I get something from all of that, I suppose. I decide to go find Juliet, who gives me a letter to give to Romeo. Apparently her father opposes his affection and is holding her prisoner, essentially. So we have to figure out a way to sneak her out of there. The plan is to make something called a cadaver potion, which temporarily feigns death to make the father believe that his daughter has died. And then when they take her body to the crypt, Romeo will whisk her away. In order to craft the potion, I'm tasked to find cadaver berries, which can be found just southeast of the city. So I get the berries, make the potion, give it to Juliet. She feigns death. We find her body in the crypt, and she's actually dead. And Romeo hooked up with her cousin. Whatever. It's still a better love story than the Titanic. Imagine marrying someone and raising children together over the span of a lifetime, and the love of your life's final thoughts aren't of you, but instead some homeless French artist who boinked her on a boat 50 years ago. Beautiful gameplay. So we casually brush off our murder of an innocent woman, and we return to the square to find commotion about an envoy coming from the kingdom of Varlamore. Wait, is that what I think it is? There's a problem though. There's a guard skulking about in a suspicious manner, and we have to follow... Oh, son of a... Yeah, it's one of those. It's GTA 3 style where you have to follow him, but not too close as to arouse suspicion. We follow him to his hideout where we discover that they stole some guard uniforms and are planning on blending in order to get close to the priest to assassinate him. So we have to mark the ones that are acting suspiciously. You see this doucher has his hands on his hips. Can't have that. This other one isn't wearing a helmet, which is just plain unsafe. This guy's using a mace, whereas all of the other guards have swords, so we mark him for being a casual scrub who doesn't follow the meta. And this one is posing all cool-like against the wall, which makes me insecure, so this is all unacceptable behavior, and we round them up for some good old-fashioned torture to uncover their plot. As a reward, we get access to another area named Varlamore, which is good, but there's still a lot to do here, it seems, so I instead opt to hunt down the quests here first. There's this one where this king hasn't heard from a guard post for a while, and I go check on it. Clearly there's some trickery afoot. They tell me to kill the dog, but I can't attack it. What the F? I find Gertrude's kids, who say that the cat is in the sawmill, which he is, but the stupid bastard won't let me pick him up. What the F? And there's also this giant crack that needs investigating, but I can't enter it. What the F? I'm stumped on multiple fronts. But luckily, while looking for some guidance, I find this quest suggestion tool near the minimap that actually suggests quests for me to do, and it does show what skills I need in order to complete them, which is amazing. There's this other one called Porcine of Interest, where this woman has been ambushed by a giant monster, and I'm tasked with slaying it. I found where she got jumped, and I followed the vegetable trail to a hole in the ground, but you can't just enter it. No, you see, that would be too simple. So I figure you need rope in order to go down, and conveniently there's a rope vendor right nearby in Draenor. This itself is kind of interesting, I thought. There's so many shops that specialize in just one thing. There's one for rope, pottery, helmets. There's one for Amy Winehouse. but I get the rope and I head into the cave. I'm ambushed by Jesus Christ from the 2024 Summer Olympics. Much like most of my encounters with women, upon seeing me, she immediately reflexively vomits directly in my face. I'm rescued by another woman who says that in order to counter it, I need a special pair of goggles. Apparently they do something after all. So I return and what the F? I can't attack them. Okay, so there's something I'm not getting here. Looking through the settings, it turns out that there's this noob protection for high-level mobs where they won't even let you click on them if you're too low level. So naturally, because I am a professional, I turn that crap off, and I figure that this is also a good time to look through all of the settings to see if I'm screwing myself over in other ways. Most importantly, I scale up the interface so I no longer have to strain my old man eyes. And aside from that, I also find another option to highlight starting points for quests, which sounds like it may solve my struggles in, starting them. Although I'm sure I'll still complain about it. But back to the quest. The lady says he's weak to stabbing attacks, which is interesting. At this point, I thought the stances just determined what type of XP you get. But as it turns out, I guess certain enemies are weaker to different types of attacks, which is pretty cool, actually. So it's a rather long and drawn out battle, but I do manage to defeat him, and I get 5,000 gold as a reward, which is pretty crazy. I also unlock Slayer quests, which seem to be some sort of bounty system where you kill a certain amount of enemies and you return for a currency that you can spend on a variety of things. That's pretty cool. I really like it when these MMOs have all of these different systems. One of the best things about the genre, I think, is the variety it offers, and seemingly every day you're unlocking this new form of character progression to explore. I instead opt to grind goblins for a few hours to level my combat. I eventually get bored, and I look for more quests, and I find what is quite possibly the most annoying quest I've ever encountered in a video game, and it shows just how much time you can save if you have prior knowledge and you know what to bring with you. There are these goblins who are fighting over what gang colors they should wear, green or red, and they task me with returning them in orange-colored armor to see how it looks. The armor itself isn't bad because they say you can find it around the camp, which I do, but to color it orange I need to visit a witch in Draenor across the other side of the effing continent. So I slowly trudge my way there, and she only makes red, yellow, and blue dye, but that's no problem. It may not seem like it, but I did graduate kindergarten, and using the color wheel, red and yellow of course make orange, and we can just ignore the blue dye. Right. To make red dye, she says I need the berries from the Port Sarim General Store, and to make yellow dye, I need garlic, which is a little more tricky. You see, Gielinor is a communist world in the sense where the farmers don't really mind sharing their food with strangers. And it's not a communist world in the sense that the working class doesn't seem to be collectively starving to death. So I scour the farms and I eventually find some garlic, return it to the witch, make the dyes, paint the armor, and go all the way back to the goblins on the other side of the world. And keep in mind, I'm moving as slow as my grandparents have sex all the while I'm doing this. And they want the blue armor now. So I walk all the effing way back to the witch to make the blue dye. But you need these leaves from a guy in Falador. Walk all the way there, get the leaves, back to the witch, dye the stupid armor, and finally back to the goblins. Oh my effing G. Okay, so I really like this game, but this made me want to get a colonoscopy, which is actually a compliment because I also really happen to enjoy colonoscopies. I had one just last year, and when they were putting me under, I told the team, "Everyone, let's get to the bottom of this." They all laughed, and then applauded, and then proceeded to insert a lubricated tube up my rectum. It was truly the moment where I felt like I had peaked in life, and unfortunately it's been all downhill from there. But all in all, much like this game, it was a 10 of 10 experience. Really one to tell the grandkids about, and also a YouTube audience without their consent. A lost art within the world of MMORPGs today is questing. Any modern release works as follows. You make a character, and you burn through a linear and plain leveling campaign as fast as humanly possible to reach the shiny endgame. That's what it's all about. The dungeons and the raids, the endgame PvP, and while that has been refined in many ways, the questing and leveling seems to be a forgotten memento of the past, which is interesting because it's something that literally every player does. Some people raid, some people just do dungeons, others prefer PvP, some people just like making gold, but everyone levels. So if that's the case, why does it seem to be genre-wide the most neglected activity by developers? Well, the answer is that it's seen as a chore. But why is it seen as a chore? Because it's designed to be one. It's like this self-fulfilling circular prophecy. People see questing as boring, so developers don't spend time on it, which makes them boring, so people see them as such. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Or you have developers offering players the ability to pay money to skip it. How awesome of a job you must have done for someone to say, hey, can I pay $50 to not play this part of your game? At what point, I wonder, do developers intentionally make their questing as boring as my fucking voice in order to incentivize purchasing the ability to skip it? Yeah, the industry is in a pretty sad state of affairs, I'd say. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Old school RuneScape, in my opinion, so far is a huge standout, both in the so-called golden era of the MMO back in 2001 and today. Even though I've just started, I can already tell that the questing isn't just something to slog through to get to the actual game. It is the game. And if there's one thing that I would make as a selling point, this is it, because it's currently offering something that I haven't found anywhere else within the genre. I always thought that the quests in World of Warcraft were pretty revolutionary, and they were in some senses. Just the fact that it had a full linear campaign that took you zone by zone from 1 to 60 was pretty groundbreaking at the time, as the genre at that point was very grindy. There were quests to be found, but from the ones I've played and from what I understand, mob grinding was pretty much required in order to level efficiently. But as far as the actual content of the quests is concerned, RuneScape is hard to match. Like, these are actual quests that you would expect to find in a single-player RPG. They require problem solving and route planning, not just go kill 10 defy smugglers and trappers. And I gotta say that not following any guides and actually having to puzzle this stuff out has been pretty intimidating, but also really rewarding when I do actually figure it out. The quests are very rewarding and also time-consuming. Like, there's a bit of injustice going on here. These quests take me a minute to explain, but what you guys aren't seeing are the 2 hours of me walking and all of this trial and error. And in case I didn't mention it yet, you walk as slow as my grandparents have sex in this game. Today, we continue our folly quest of trying to quest, but first some managerial-like business. There was a little bit of confusion in regards to the Ironman mode that I explained in the first video, but not the last one, so it's my fault. But when I first started this game, I did it on a normal character, and then I did something of a first impressions video, and then after that I decided that I enjoyed it enough to make it into a series, and then recreated my character as an Ironman for the extra challenge. So up until this video, what you've mostly seen is footage of that first non-Ironman character in his full mithril set, which was obtained through the adventure paths. So that's over now. There are a few quests that I did on that character, but I did not record, and I will be recreating here on my Ironman character, so I'll tell you about those first, and then we'll kind of go back again and cover my first steps on the actual Ironman after character creation. Yeah, I know it's kind of confusing the way I've done this, but just bear with me for a moment and it'll all make sense. And then from this video, it'll be very straightforward. So I decided to give the cat another try. Examining it, it says it's thirsty, so I go back to milk some one-teat cows and feed it the milk, which works, but it still won't let me pick it up. Returning to Gertrude, she says that his favorite meal is a sardine seasoned with dougal leaves, which can be found right outside of her house, which works, but it still won't let me pick it up, as apparently this cat is higher maintenance than my imaginary girlfriend. But luckily, the examine tool seems to be pretty handy, and I'm going to remember this for the future. But it clues me in on the muse down below, which I had previously exhausted, but I guess I did it out of order, because trying again, I eventually find a kitten. So I give that to the cat, and it returns to Gertrude on its own. And as a reward, I get some food and a pet kitten to take care of. I decide that this is far too much responsibility, so I lock him in my bank with no food nor water. At Port Sarum, I encounter a pirate who really wants a drink, and in exchange he'll give me some treasure, but the rum he wants is only made on the island of Karamja, and there's an issue. They've locked down exports and they won't let the rum off of the island, so I'll have to do some trickery to smuggle it off. I check the docks and find transportation to the island, and speaking with the customs officer, it looks like they will indeed pull a TSA and shove their fist up my rectum, but considering I've already had a colonoscopy recently, I opt to pass on it this time. I guess these dum-dums haven't heard of Hearthstone, so I buy the rum, cook up the teleport, and what the F? It's gone. Well, that's a bullcorn. You know, this was the one moment where I felt like I was being clever. You just couldn't let me have that, could ya? So I walk all the way back and pay for both the boat trip and the rum again, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but gold's pretty hard to come by in this game. I wish that they would add some sort of way to pay real-life money for virtual currency, because despite the fact that I don't have time to play video games, I still choose to play the most time-consuming genre humanly possible. Told you so, by the way. So clearly we didn't play by the rules here. There's a banana plantation nearby who makes shipments to the food store in Port Sarum, which sounds awfully convenient. The owner says that the customs officer trusts him and she doesn't even check his crates anymore. So I ask him for a job, and I load the crate with bananas and slip in the rum, and I go to the food store owner to retrieve it. I see it in the back, but I'm barred entry for some reason. Don't you hate it when NPCs in video games don't just let you rifle through all of their belongings? He says that only employees are allowed back there, so I ask for a job, and I need to be in proper uniform, which I am not about. In fact, I'm in my underwear as I record this voiceover. He says that there's one right next door in the fishing shop, and luckily that owner doesn't seem to mind if I blatantly steal from him. So I get in uniform, get in the back, get the rum, fuck you, I quit, and return it to the pirate, who gives me a key to a chest in the upper floor of the Blue Moon Inn in Verak. Yeah, why didn't you just open it then? Oh, he's a Blizzard developer. Actually, speaking of which, this is kind of reminiscent of another video game that I've played in the past. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of World of Warcraft. Remember the Stalvin quest chain where you're tasked with opening a chest in the second floor of the Goldshire Inn? It's kind of similar, except instead of wholesome pirate treasure, it's about uncovering the story of a raging pedophile. So I open the chest and get ready to channel my inner Scrooge McDuck, and oh my god, it's another... Are you kidding me? So it says that Ceradim, I have no idea who that is, points at the X in the garden in Falador. Well, here's a guy who's pointing, and here's a vague X, and... oh. I solved a puzzle. A series of puzzles, actually. Oh my god. Please clap. Since we're on a roll here, the activity advisor directs me to the White Knight's Fortress for a quest that I now apparently have the requirements for. They're at war with the Black Knights, and they have some sort of weapon of mass destruction, and I'm asked to infiltrate their fortress in order to destroy it, and to also harvest all of their oil and lithium, you know, while I'm over there. This is another case of knowing what items to bring beforehand saves you just an insane amount of time. I'm barred entry as I'm not in proper uniform, so I very suspiciously ask what the uniform is, which they tell me. It's a bronze medium helmet and an iron chain body. Having grinded quite a bit in the barbarian village at this point, there's a helmet shop there, and looking at the map, there's a chain body vendor in Falador. So I get in uniform, get past the guards, and these Black Knights are like ridiculous. I can kill them, but it takes 10 heals, so I instead just try to run past everything. The castle is kind of built like a maze with secret passages, but I find a hole in the ground where my character says that they can see a cauldron below, and I seem to run into a dead end until I find one of the secret passages, and following that I eventually find a spot to eavesdrop. There's a witch who's brewing some sort of apocalyptic potion and is waiting for the final ingredient, a cabbage from the Draenor Manor. She heavily emphasizes that it has to be one from Draenor or else it won't work, so seems fairly simple. I head south a ways to find a normal cabbage outside of the mansion, and I return it to the hole in the ground above the cauldron, drop it in, and thwart their plans. I return to the White Knights, and as a reward, I get a decent chunk of change. This one was really cool, actually. Probably my favorite so far. And again, you're not seeing like an hour of walking and getting lost, but figuring it out was actually quite rewarding. It kind of reminds me in the Paleolithic era when I was a kid, before the internet era, and all you really had was your own wits, or a $15 strategy guide if you bought those, which I did, when I could afford it at least. I remember one time my brother and I were playing Final Fantasy VII when it first came out, and we had gotten to the Shinra Mansion where there was that puzzle with the safe where you had to find the combination. We were stumped and really bummed out, and we told our uncle about it, and without even being asked, he went to the game store, got us the strategy guide, and he snuck it behind us when we weren't looking and just left it there, so we were able to get the answer. So, shoutouts to Uncle Season Show. What a boss. I still have it today, actually. But anyways, back to my point. I think it's worth noting that with the guide culture and wikis and how accessible everything is today, this is kind of a lost art. Even if the player forgoes guides, developers sort of design a lot of the discovery out of their games through the form of waypoints or yellow paint that I've bitched about like 3 times already in the series. I can't speak for the entire game, but at least for now, from what I can tell, OSRS doesn't seem to do that, and the information on how to complete all of these quests is there. Sometimes you have to dig through dialogue to find it, but from everything I've done so far, it's all been discoverable in-game, which is definitely a lost art, and I hope that continues. I definitely recommend it if you're in a similar position as me, and you've never played this before, and you're looking for a game with quests that require some investigation to complete. This was the point where I stopped my review of the game, posted that to YouTube, and then decided to make it into a full series. So this is where I decide to make the actual Ironman character. So there's a lot of catch-up to do, but since I know what the actual quests need, I should be able to do them in a fraction of the time. Like how Morgan didn't give me his stupid garlic last time. So in retaliation, this time I murdered his wife. The first thing I will say though is that I noticed with Ironman, you don't get those handy adventure path rewards to start you off. So in previous footage, you'll notice that I'm decked out in mithril gear, which has been very useful, but now I have to rely on myself for all of my equipment needs. I start grinding the goblins, but they actually put up a decent fight now. I really want to see if I can complete every quest in this game without dying, so I can add it to my pickup line of being rank 14 Grand Marshal, World First 300 Fishing, World First Bloodsail Admiral, and the recreation of a 15-year-old video game, so all of the mamacitas can awkwardly stare at me. So I err on the side of caution and decide to work on my armor first. I have 0 gold to speak of, so I really have to make everything myself. I head on over to the mining spot near the swamp and I start working on my mining, and this itself was also pretty intriguing to me. In World of Warcraft and most other MMOs I've played, there are of course mineral veins out in the world, and they're static spawns, but they have a lengthy respawn timer. This is of course done to dissuade node camping and botting, I'm sure, but in this game, you don't even have to ever move. The veins take just a couple of seconds to pop back up, which I would say is detrimental in terms of botting, but beneficial in that it's just another thing that makes this so friendly to run in the background. Speaking of this, I should say that you'll notice that throughout this challenge that my gathering skills are going to vastly outpace the rest of my character. The reason for that is because I'm a true gaming goblin. I'm gaming when I'm editing, I'm gaming when I'm doing internet research, I'm gaming when I'm releasing my bowels, when I'm driving. This is probably one of the friendliest second monitor games I've ever played, and it's quite rewarding. It's so simple, but it does a very good job of rewarding your investment and making you feel like you're progressing, and I'm just high on dopamine 24/7. The Gathering in general actually feels very similar to New World in a lot of ways, where anyone can do anything, and each tree you fell or each node you deplete gives you experience. That might be a scary comparison considering that New World kind of sucked ass, but The Gathering was actually one of its strengths, in my opinion. But anyways, I do this for a very long time. I craft myself some weapons, a longsword and a scimitar, and examining them we have 3 different stats that I have no idea what they mean. Some are higher than others, some are lower. I just use the highest cumulative. Yeah, my G, my Ha, and my laws are just off the charts. I make a few pieces of armor, but they're still dealing some pretty decent damage, so I have to make a full-on set, and I'm also starting to make some money by selling the extra stuff to the general store. I eventually make this diesel two-hander, which has insane gahalas. The walking at this point has really started to wear on me, so I looked at the map and I noticed that there's this crafters guild that has mining nodes right next to a bank. I figured that it would be more efficient to just deposit all of the ore and then finding a furnace next to a bank so I can just smelt them all at once. So I walk all the way over, and you need level 40 to enter? Are you... the F. Level 40 crafting. I'll show you level 40 crafting. I don't even know how to level my crafting. This is a lot of work just to farm goblins. That's all I'm gonna say. So, after a while of stewing, I checked the map once more. I noticed there's a decent spot in Falador, actually. There's some veins right outside of the castle, and there's a bank right there. Just gotta climb over this little pile of rubble. Oh. So, agility is another skill in the game. Throughout the world, there are these little shortcuts you can use if you've leveled it. This one requires 5. I did notice that there are training spots spread throughout the world, so I head on over to the one in Draenor, and there's this little obstacle course where you can relive the mid-2000s and record some bad hardcore parkour videos and upload them to your YouTube channel. Did I mention that this is a good game to play while you're doing something else yet? As monotonous as this seems, I do actually kind of like it. It kind of reminds me in World of Warcraft where you're bored, but you have nothing better to do, so you just do circles in Dalaran. Luckily for me, I've had nothing better to do my entire life, so it's about as up my alley as my recent colonoscopy.
You merely adopted the monotony. I was born in it. Molded by it. I didn't experience exciting gameplay until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but blinding.
So, with my ultimate goal of just farming goblins slightly easier, I'm at about hour 12 of being sidetracked at this point, but I get my agility to 5, and I return to my spot and get back to mining, and I stockpile a decent amount of ore, and now all I need is a spot with a bank next to a furnace. The best one I can see is just west of Varric, and I see a bunch of other people doing the same thing, which makes me feel smart for once because I seem to get the idea. And while I'm here, I notice a random iron mace on the ground that I yoink, which has some pretty decent gahalas. And now that all of the ore is smelted, I head into town to smith it, and... what the fuck is that noise? Please, someone tell me what the F is going on. It sounds like a goblin is being molested by a leopard. So from this farming run, I leveled my blacksmithing enough to make myself a full set of bronze armor. And I also noticed that there's a sword shop in town that sells many different tiers. The best one being this green one, adamant, and oh my god, it's like 100 times more powerful than what I'm using now. But it's of course insanely expensive, but I figured that this is what I should save my money for, as combat XP is based off of damage dealt, so this would result in the fastest grind. So now that I have my armor, I should just buy the best weapon, and I can rake in all of the XP. And then I'll be ready to farm some goblins. So I go to my bank and I sell everything that looks like it has value. I have a bunch of gems from mining and also some odds and ends from those bot checks that pop up every now and then. But I'm only able to scrounge up around 700 gold, which is nowhere near enough. I need 3,200 for the sword that I want. So I return to the goblins in full plate armor, ready to AFK grind my way to victory. And they're still effing me up. What the F? Okay, is it just me, or does it seem like the items don't really do jack crap in this game? I have so much Gahala, what's the problem here? How are these wimpy level 1 enemies still dealing damage to me? So, I decide that the next best thing to do is to just save up for that sword. I channel my inner fisherman. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, by the way, but I did actually get world first 300 fishing in the recreation of a 15-year-old video game. So I decide to sell my cooked fish, and it's alright. I get to the level where I can use bait to catch salmon and trout, and then I cook them and sell them. So I'm leveling my fishing, cooking, wood cutting, and fire making all at once. And the real moneymaker here is the salmon, as it sells for way more than the trout. But the only problem is the feathers, which you buy from the bait shop in Port Sarum, but they're so expensive. Sometimes I'm just barely able to pull a profit depending on my luck. So I eventually take a break and try something more my level. Channel my inner link and find some chickens to terrorize. And wait, they drop feathers? Oh my effing G. I've wasted so much money on that stupid shop. And they drop a lot. So I decide to release my inner rage on chickens for a good while. And my gold income increases by quite a lot. Still though, I decide to take the time to check out some other skills. I see there's thievery, which is interesting. You ever do a Skyrim run and trivialize the entire game by leveling pickpocket and abusing save states? Oh, there's a security expert. That must be it. Oh, whoops, this is a dead man tutor. Well, what is it? PvP is always on? You lose all of your shit, including your bank items? Oh my god. What kind of masochist made this game? Oh, here he is. Wait, it's account security? I guess I've been playing too much Morrowind. Well, what the F? How do you pickpocket people? I need money, damn it. And unfortunately, I picked a male character, so dancing at a mailbox is out of the question. Oh, here we go. Thieving activity. Oh, it's halfway across the world. I instead talked to a crafting trainer who says to take cowhides to the tannery, the closest of which can be found on the other side of the gate to the desert area. By combining tanned hides with a needle and thread, you can make some leather armor, which is quite valuable. But the only problem is that you have to pay money for both the toll and the thread over and over again, so I'm barely breaking even. If I haven't mentioned it yet, this is a lot of work just to kill some goblins. So I eventually just turn back to fishing, and after about a day of playtime, I finally get the fabled 3200 gold. I head on back to Varric, hit up the sword shop, and like a kid who's been saving up his allowance for 3 months, I blow it all on the green popsicle.
Oh, my precious.
Alright, excuse the server lag when I equip this massive upgrade. What the F? Oh my god. Attack level 30. I'll show you attack level 30. Alright, so apparently to equip high level items in this game you need to level your stats. I guess it makes sense since earlier we learned that leveling attack seemed completely effing useless, at least from what I could tell. But now it makes more sense. Attack level to equip higher level weapons, and strength to deal more damage with those weapons, and defense for defense, I'm assuming. So, obviously, unless I want to waste 3200 gold, that is the next goal. I guess we're going to head to the barbarian village to... What the F is that noise? There's some weird stuff going on in this game. I don't even want to know. So I grind and grind and grind. This is a pretty good spot, actually. There's a fishing pool right nearby, so even though I failed in my quest of being able to mostly AFK grind without having to heal, it's really not that big of a deal since I have this convenient little spot to keep myself fully stocked on food. And I figured that I need to level my fishing and woodcutting and fire making anyway, so I commit to some barbarian genocide until... boom, comma, baby, the green popsicle stick. Status, God mode. Gahalas, incalculable. Actually, by this point, embarrassingly enough, I've finally remembered in the tutorial the stat screen. Yeah, you know the screen that shows my actual offensive and defensive stats? I swear I've played the genre before. So I'm actually clueless on what Gahala is. Oh, wait. I'm extra stupid. It literally says right here it has to do with the price. I don't have any idea what they stand for, but it seems to be generally indicative of a weapon's quality, so the higher the better, but from now on I'm obviously going to use the character sheet. Okay, seriously, what the F are these noises? Oh my god. Another thing I'd like to correct was that I made a comment that this game doesn't feel very social, and I think there's an element to that, just because it's been out for so long with people knowing so much about it, and with wikis and third-party convenient sources for interaction. There's really not a huge reason to interact in-game, but I did happen upon some. This was by complete accident, but I happened to be lagging at the time, and I got a message saying that I should consider switching servers, so I did, and I randomly picked one called Woodcutting, and when I passed Draenor Village, there's like this orgy of wood chopping going on. And it had all of these events pop up where you get this special currency to spend on this nearby vendor to get gear and other things that improve your wood cutting. So I'm definitely going to remember this for the future with other stuff in case there's more group activities like this to level skills. But this was a pretty awesome way to make a dull grind more entertaining, and I actually striked up conversations with people. But anyways, I said earlier in a video that this game isn't very sociable, but I did have this nice session which was pretty refreshing. So I feel at this point I'm pretty capable offensively, so I decide to head back to the barbarians to work on my defense. I bought an adamantite helmet from there, but as you might guess it requires 30 defense to equip, and I have even more gold saved up mainly from questing and also grinding barbarians and selling fish, the latter being my most stable source of income. And while I'm here, I find this cave system that's filled with goblins and wolves, and it seems pretty huge, so I just decide to leave it for now, as I assume that I'll get a quest for it later. I eventually get the 30 defense and equip the adamantite helmet, and decide to take a break from grinding at this point to grind something else, my magic. I picked up a magic staff from Varric, which is nice, but the problem is that to cast spells in this game, you need reagents called runes. There are fire runes, mind runes, water runes, law, all sorts of different kinds. It kind of reminds me in World of Warcraft vanilla with hunters who needed actual ammo for every shot that they fired, which could definitely be inconvenient, but also cool since it started this whole dynamic of needing to be stocked up on ammo, and you could craft your own, and you had a special quiver or pouch container that gave you more slots and attack speed. It's old school RPG gaming at its finest, but the only problem with RuneScape is that it's not so simple. There's a rune shop in town that you can use, but it's pretty expensive, so I decided to craft my own. But how do you do that? Remember that quest we did a while back where we unlocked the essence mine? Well, you have to bring a mining pick with you, and then go to that NPC in the wizard's tower. He'll teleport you there, where you then mine the essence, and you then take that along with the talisman. I only have an arrow at the moment, and you take this to an altar, which is fine because it tells you where the altar is, and then you use it to convert the essence into runes. That's all well and great. The only problem? It's incredibly fucking slow. Like seriously, each essence takes up an inventory slot, so you can only make like 20 of one per trip. And in case I haven't mentioned it yet, you move as slowly as my grandparents have sex in this game, and I still don't know how to increase my inventory. The only thing I saw was that from the Slayer's rewards, you could get something called a rune pouch, but let me tell you about this. So this system is pretty simple. You're tasked with killing a certain type of enemy. As a reward, you get points. You spend these points on gear. That's easy, but the only problem for me is that I don't know where all the enemies are. Goblins, fine. Spiders, that's good. Monkeys were a little harder, but I found them on Karamja. But, uh-oh, now I need cave crawlers, and I have no idea where they are. There are cave systems in the game. They're marked on the map with pins called dungeons, but out of the ones I've checked, I haven't found any cave crawlers. But even if I did, it doesn't really matter because for the only spell I can cast, I need Air and Mind, and I don't know where the Mind Talisman is. But there is a saving grace. There are tutors in this game, and aside from their handy information, some of them actually give you stuff. The magic tutor says that she'll straight up give me runes if I claim them from her. She gives 30 each of Air and Mind every 30 minutes, which is perfect. It's not enough to farm, but it's still pretty useful, and you can dupe the fuck out of her. She won't give you any if you already have some in your inventory or bank, since she doesn't want you to hoard them. But if you just drop them on the ground, she'll give them to you and you can just pick them up. And in fact, every time I'm in town and I'm not on cooldown, I'll just drop my runes, snag an easy 60, and at this point I have quite a few stocked up. I love it when you can outsmart non-sentient NPCs in a video game. So after like a 5-hour struggle, I got my staff, I got my runes, and I have an unquenchable rage of 5,000 virgins. What the fuck? Ah! Okay. Bruh. Why am I doing 0 damage? Why is this game so hard? Oh my god. Oh, fuck this. Yeah, forget it. Let's just quest. Let's see what the activity advisor says. Now this tool I'm really grateful for. I definitely feel lost a lot in this game, which I like, by the way, or else I would just look it up. But this tool is nice to kind of reorient me. You know, give me some direction and start me on a quest where I can learn along the way while still feeling like I'm making progress. So let's see what it tells me. Oh. Beautiful gameplay. Okay, what's this about? What have I done now to piss off the gods of this game? Let's try relogging. Nope. Still nothing. Okay, you're not gonna believe this, but the activity advisor is bugged. At least that's what I assume. I've been away for a bit at this point. Path of Exile 2 came out, and that's kind of been consuming my soul as of late, so it has been a little while since I logged in, and it was working fine previously, and I've changed nothing, so I'm going to assume that this is a glitch. Okay, so now I'm really effed. I was blind already, so now I have, like, negative vision. My only choice is to do it how I started and just manually look at quests on the map to try to figure out what to do next, I guess. Well, here's one on the map called The Lost Tribe. I tried to get it at the very beginning of the game, but it said I lacked the requirement, so let's see if I'm able to do it now. Apparently there's this strange noise in the cellar, and the wall collapsed. The Duke of Lumbridge thinks it was an earthquake, but others aren't so convinced. I'm told to go ask around town to see what people think. It says I'm still missing requirements, but let's just try it anyways, and we'll just deal with that when we get to it. Hey, do you know where... Oh my god! You know what happened in the cellar? Wall collapse. Okay, you're useless. Well, the cook was right near it, I guess, so let's see what he says. Alright, so he says he saw a goblin-like creature dart through a hole in the wall, and he went to go get help, but when he returned, it was gone, and the hole was covered up. I give this information to the Duke, and he tells me to go investigate. Entering the cellar, I find the covered-up hole, with no immediately obvious way of opening it up. Examining it doesn't really yield any information. I see this person just kind of standing next to the bar, but there doesn't seem to be anything there. So I head to the bank and I pick up some tools. A hammer, a shovel, and a mining pick to see if we can just punch through it. The hammer does nothing. The shovel just digs in place, but the mining pick works like a charm. Oh yeah! Please clap. Wait, why are there so many people going to this one spot here? Is this like the line for the glory hole or something? Alright, whatever. Let's see what we got. Oh. Okay, it's okay. It's only level 13. And I already did a little bit of it to unlock the Falador shortcut. By the way, during these agility runs, I start finding these items called Marks of Grace. They just randomly pop up sometimes on the ground. And examining them, it says that I can exchange them for rewards at the Rogue's Den, wherever that is. Alright, back to the Hole of Mystery. Oh, shit. Okay, so we have another mechanic here. I'm warned that you're supposed to have some sort of light source. I can enter anyways, but I'm told to do so at my own peril. I decide to peek my head in to check it out, and it's super dark. And there are these bugs that swarm you. I realize that I have no food to speak of, so I head back out to do some fishing, and during my time grinding in the swamp, I remember that there's a candle cellar, so I walk all the way over, and 1,000 gold for an effing candle? Are you mad? Well, I guess I have no choice. I have no idea where else I'd get one. Oh god, I forgot my gold in the bank. Walk all the way back. Take your damn gold. He ominously tells me that candles are dangerous in caves and that I'll find out why. Oh, good. Tell me that after you sell it to me for 1,000 gold. You fucker. Okay, so food, candle, agility. Let's do this. I immediately find this brooch on the ground. Wait, is this the quest? It was 5 steps in. Oh my god, I just wasted 1,000 gold on a candle that I didn't even need. I bring it to the Duke. He says to find more information on them in the Varick Library, and Awkwardly, right next door, someone's getting their asses arrested. I'm not sure what he did, but he shouldn't worry about it because the guard doesn't really seem to do anything other than telling him he's under arrest. These guys got nothing on the Oblivion guards. Those mother effers were straight out of Cyrodiil.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Remember the Emperor!
But anyways, I'm off once more to Varric to find the mystery of the brooch. Have I mentioned that you move as slowly as my grandparents have sex in this game yet? I show the amulet to Reldo, who says he just recently filed a book about goblins on the west end of the library. And sure enough, there it is. Goblin tradition holds that their race was created by a war god in order to fight a war against other gods. They never named their god, so whether it was the same as any other of the gods worshipped by the other races is unknown. The legends also speak of goblins fighting against other goblins during wars, so it is likely that the gods other than their creators used them as foot soldiers. Although goblins are still warlike, it's probably that in their earlier ages they were more organized than they are now, especially if they were under the direct command of one or more gods. This is corroborated by finds unearthed by the various archaeological sites, including the large excavation site east of Varric. Armor and weapons have been found, obviously made to fit goblins, but far more well made than their current equipment. Almost every piece of... What are these noises? Okay, it's kind of hard to concentrate with Kirby jacking off in the background. Okay, are you done? Almost every piece of... Oh my god! Almost every piece of ancient goblin equipment has one of a number of symbols on it, and by correlating these symbols with the sketchy records that survive from the Third Age, it has been possible to identify 12 distinct goblin tribes or regiments. The separate identities of the tribes have long since dissolved, and no goblins remember the symbols, although their generals may still recognize their ancient tribal names. So you're given a list of symbols correlating to different tribes, and the brooch we found matches this one, the Dorgashans. I bring this information back to the Duke, and he says to go find more information, which is pretty vague. I'm assuming since I found the brooch in the caves, I'll also find the goblins there, so that's where I start. And I immediately get hit by a boulder. So this area is trapped, but I decide to perform what is known as a professional gamer move. You see, when a boulder falls, the path becomes impassable, but the way that the pathing works in this game, you can use it to determine where the traps are because it knows that the shorter paths are impassable. So as long as you click pretty far away, chances are your character will just take the safe path every time. Along the way, I noticed these little rocks with symbols carved in them, and also this locked door, so I assume that you have to put the brooch in with the matching symbol, so I start keeping an eye out for a dot and a half square. But eventually I find some goblins, and they aren't aggressive, but they're scared of me, so they refuse to interact. Is this your brooch? Is this your homework, Larry? No? Well, remember the Emperor, bitch. You know, I'm not really sure why they're so scared of humans. One dropped a mining helmet, which is probably useful. I'm assuming this is another source of light, so I'll definitely hang on to it. And they're actually pretty good for grinding. They have a big life pool, and they don't really deal a lot of damage, so I think after I'm done helping them, I'll probably murder a few hundred to hone my combat stats. Alright, well I'm stumped. Oh shit! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Ah! My candle's unlit because I fell in the water. Whew, oh, there we go. Well, thank God I happen to have tinder on me. That's useful. The only thing it's ever given me is disappointment and a burning sensation when I pee. Okay, where the F am I? I don't have my teleport up. Oh god, I'm so screwed. Oh, okay. Well, there's the kitchen cellar. Just gotta dig through the rubble again. Wait, what? Oh my god. Well, I guess I'll just have to wait for my teleport. Ah! Sunlight! It burns my vampire skin. Well, it's a dead end, and I can't seem to figure out how to converse with them. The only thing I can think of is to try my goblin friends to the northwest that I helped. The book said that some generals might know more information about it, and they're generals. That's logical, right? So I head on over. On my way, I see some guy fishing out that quest item from the Piranha Fountain in Draenor Manor. Good old days. Back when I had no idea what I was doing. Along the way, I happened upon another quest, and at this point I gotta say that enabling the highlights in the options menu was a lifesaver. And it's not only for quest NPCs, there's also one for agility shortcuts, and I can guarantee you that I totally would have walked right past this had I not enabled it. It's a dwarf, and I asked to use his anvil, but he wants some ore for me, as well as some clay, and he says that I can find all three in the dwarven mine just to the east, which I know for now, but I'm easily overwhelmed, so I'll just put a pin in that for now while I pursue my current quest. So talking to the generals, I actually have a dialogue option for the Dogushan. Oh my god, I'm actually figuring this stuff out. I show them the brooch and they can't seem to agree on much, but from what I gather, the tribe either lost or ran away from a battle, so the gods banished them to the underground, which is why they dug into the Lumbridge kitchen. They show me a bow and a dance and tell me to use it to greet them. I first tell the Duke this information, and he says that he'll get an army ready, but still sends me down to learn more about them. I make my way back and I use the bow, which lowers their guard, and they confirm that they fled the war ages ago and eventually took a liking to the basement dweller life, which I totally identify with. And they say that they mistakenly broke into the kitchen following an iron vein, and they didn't mean to, so they filled the hole back up and fled and hoped that if they were to ignore the problem, maybe it would just go away, which I also identify with. I think I might be a goblin, so I tell this information to the Duke, and he says that there's an issue. Some silverware went missing, so apparently this is grounds for war. The advisor, Sigmund, is certain that it was the goblins, and is very gung-ho about murdering all of them. In fact, he has been this entire quest. He was the one who told the Duke that the silverware was missing, and I press him about it, and asked why no one noticed earlier, and he very suspiciously says it doesn't matter. The goblins took it. Don't bother yourself with the details. Luckily for me, I listened to Alex Jones, and this is all very reminiscent of
Globalist mainstream media scumbags turning the frogs gay. I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. I'm a human. And I'm coming.
I don't buy this bullshit for 1 second. I try to see if I can pickpocket the silverware off of him. Yeah, I figured out how to pickpocket, by the way. And while I don't get silverware, I do get a key. Using it on a nearby chest reveals a ham outfit, Humans Against Monsters. This is some sort of cult that's racist against monsters, and Sigmund is a part of it, hence his eagerness for genocide. I tell the Duke about this, but being a part of the cult isn't a crime itself, so while he'll keep an eye on him, he can't really do much. So this would be a dead end, but by complete luck, in my search for the cave crawlers from earlier, I managed to find the ham hideout. It's just west of Lumbridge under a trapdoor with a ham symbol on it. So I put on the robes and infiltrate it, and searching all around until I find it in the beginning at the crate near the entrance. I take it back to the Duke, and Sigmund is ousted as the butthole he is. The Duke gives me a peace treaty to deliver to the goblins, and this is normally where I would complain about walking back and forth, but luckily they put a goblin at the entrance that just straight up teleports you to their camp, which is definitely appreciated. They sign the peace treaty, and unbeknownst to us, Sigmund is listening behind the door in his special stealthy hot pink robes, already plotting retaliation and clearly showing that there's going to be a follow-up. But with that, that's another quest down. I get a ton of mining XP and a life ring, which I don't know what it does. Examining it just gives me the Gahalas, but I equip it anyway since I just have a gold ring equipped for now. This was another cool quest, and again, all solvable through dialogue. I guess maybe aside from the last part where you get the silverware. Unless I missed it, it seemed like you needed to know where the hideout was because none of the NPCs really gave any useful information past that point. But it was pretty cool. It required investigation and exploration, and I'm honestly stunned that I haven't hit a brick wall yet. I guess aside from that encrypted message, which is still sitting in my bank. So, yeah, that's one more quest for you. I'm on a solid pace of one every 2 weeks, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Like the video if you liked it, and all that stuff, and thanks for watching. Peace. RuneScape, or complain about World of Warcraft. RuneScape, complain about WoW. F it. Another 2 weeks, another quest, another year of disappointment for my parents. Yeah, Happy New Year, by the way. Yeah, I'm well aware that this is going to take me like 15 years. I actually don't mind that. one of the main reasons why I like this game to begin with is that it seems to me that it's the one outlier within the genre today where leveling isn't just a chore to overcome to get to the good stuff. It is the good stuff. So if it takes me a decade, I think that's actually rather symbolic. Plus, I think it would be an interesting social experiment for someone to start the series as a 20-year-old virgin, and then when I finish it 15 years later, there'll be a 35-year-old virgin. Anyways, where was I? Ah, that's right, magic. So, why the F am I dealing 0 damage? I swear this was working in the tutorial. What, did my character forget how to use it? Ah, but you see here, unlike physical attacks, you get XP even if you don't damage them, so I'm guessing it's probably like strength. I just have to level it up a bit. I decided to level it on cows since they drop cowhide. This way I can kind of process that into armor to sell so I can cover the cost of buying the runes and also gain some crafting XP at the same time. But it takes me forever to kill 1 cow. What a heroic sight this is. This is like the erectile dysfunction of magic. Behold the Demon Slayer, the conqueror of Draenor Manor, the defender of Lumbridge. Bow before his ultimate might. The power to take down a single cow in just 15 minutes. But as I level it, I do start noticing a difference and to start getting hits in here and there. I do this until level 25, which is what I was initially going for since that's when you get the Varrock teleport. So that'll cut down on a lot of the running, which is good because if you didn't know yet, you walk as slowly as... You know what? I need a new metaphor. This one is just nasty at this point. We need something more PG. Oh, I know. I walk as slowly as my grandparents, who are walking slowly because they're sore from having crazy wild tantric sex. Okay, no more from now on, I promise. So I take this opportunity to process all of my cowhides into armor, and much more efficiently than last time. Instead of going through the gate for every trip and paying the toll each time, I just put the hide in the bank for now, and then pay the toll once, and then just process all of it in the desert town. And I end up with 29 crafting and quite a lot of gold. And I also make myself this hard leather body, which is a little less physical defense, but way more magic and ranged. And more importantly, they show off my rippling biceps. A confession I should make is that this whole time, I've been running around long-sleeved without a permit for concealed weapons. But we're good now. I hope nobody calls the guards because this physique is downright criminal.
Stop!
Oh shit.
You violated the law.
Hang on, let me just get my own soap here. Oh shit. Okay, what's this about? What? Okay. I think I might be a bot. Oh, I see. Oh, by the way, why does copper gear sell for like 50 each and leather for like 2? Except when you get to hard leather, then it's really stonks. Look at that crap. 68 per. So whenever I need money, this is definitely going to be my go-to farm to replace fishing. And while I'm here, I decide to give myself a nice Christmas present. Some nice adamantite leggings. Oh. Wait, why is my magic damage so low? The F? Oh my... excuse me. God. Armor reduces your magic ability. I'm quitting for 2 years. So when I was looking for the next quest, I noticed this green one in Lumbridge, and I check it out, and it's some guy named the Taskmaster, and he tells me about achievements. Every now and then, whenever I do something, I get a chat message saying I completed a task, and as it turns out, there are 4 tiers: easy, medium, hard, and elite, and each gives you rewards if you complete them in their entirety. There are a bunch of them, with of course the higher tiers giving better stuff, but most importantly, on easy, you get this ring that recharges your run energy twice a day, which sounds amazing, but the only problem is that all of these look doable except for the water runes, which I can't do since I haven't found the water talisman yet. So as soon as I find that, that's going to be a pretty high priority goal. And I've also been working on my agility here and there, usually while playing other games. Yeah, I'm gaming while I game. We've reached layered degeneracy. but I've since graduated from the Draenor obstacle course, and I've now moved on to the desert, and as of now I'm 25. So it's about time to start the next quest. The activity advisor is still bugged, unfortunately, but if you remember, we have that dwarf quest that we got near the Goblin Village, so I decided to pursue that first. Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's so good. We're zooming now. Shit, wrong way. Oh, another quest. There's this woman camped out in front of the dwarves. She says she's uncovered this hidden cave and that she's an archaeologist, but she's clearly up to no good. Kind of like Lara Croft, except with less cleavage. She asked me to help her find her crew to open it up. There's a guy in Varrock, one in Falador, and another in the Barbarian camp. I agree to help her, but for now I just want to finish Doric's quest. So I enter the mines, get the requested supplies, and while I'm here I see this magic chest that's locked behind this door. Just gonna assume that I need to come back for this later. So I hand in the ore, and... wait, that was it? No multi-hour journey crawling across the entire continent? No cryptic riddles that made me question my life choices? I feel cheated. Okay, maybe I'm a little thrown off because the last few quests took me like 10 hours, but this is a 1-minute quest, or 1 second if you knew what you needed ahead of time. But whatever, I'll take it. That's another down and like 150 to go. I head to Falador to find the woman's friend, and it looks quite different from when I left it. There's a Christmas event going on. There are these dogs running amok, and I'm asked to go find them homes, basically. I'm given 5 invitations to possible adopters spread throughout the world. 2 in Falador, 2 in Varrock, 1 south of Falador. So between these 2 quests, I have to find like 8 people, which is more time consuming than you'd think because you're just given their vague whereabouts. You may have seen these highlights over the quest NPCs at this point. This is that setting that I enabled in the options menu, but from what I can tell, it only works for the start of quests. So for quests like these where I have to find certain NPCs, it's just me mousing over every pixel on the screen like I'm looking for Waldo, which is doubly difficult because I also happen to have no sense of direction in this game. But I eventually find him in the inn, buy him a drink, and recruit his finely toned dwarven ass, which leaves just 2 to go. I deliver the next invitations, teleport back, which by the way has no cooldown, which is just amazing and a huge time saver. I deliver another invitation to the crazy cat lady, and I find the drifter, who's the brother of the guy that I'm looking for. He says that we can find him in Edgeville, which is where I did my smelting, if you remember from a previous episode. And again, this is where knowing what you need to bring saves you just an insane amount of time. He says he'll help me out if I bring him a steak sandwich from the Blue Moon Inn in Varrock, but the chef there won't cook for him because he's an asshole, apparently. But he tells me how to do it. I need to make some buns and then slide my juicy meat between them. The bread we were taught how to cook in the very beginning of the game, and the meat we get from the cows that we've been genociding. Alright, simple enough. Wait, how'd you make the bread again? That was like 3 months ago. Doesn't this game understand that I progress as slowly as my grandparents have sex? Oh, damn it! Oh, that's right. You need a pot of flour, which you get from the mill. Oh, it's so slow. Get the damn flour, use it with the water, bread dough, bake, combine. Oh my god. I just ate it by accident. Oh my god. Please. Get the flour again, bring it back, make the dough, and very carefully use it with the meat. Oh, you need a knife? Was this a sandwich or IKEA furniture? I'm convinced that it's way easier to do this in real life than it is in this game. Whatever. No sense getting worked up over it. There's the knife. You use the bread with the...
1 day later.
Alright, I'm back. Had some time to calm down. You may not believe it, but I actually like how detailed the cooking is. It's very RPG-like and quite immersive, I find. It's just frustrating because my ADHD-riddled brain has the attention span of 5 seconds, but that's my problem, not the game's. But let's give this sandwich one more try. Okay. Get the flour, make the dough, make the bread, knife in hand. Oh God, I feel like Indiana Jones. Okay, firmly grasp it with your hand, place the meat between the buns, and mouse away. Okay, whew. Let's teleport back and hand it in. I passed the auction house along the way. There are these NPCs that give you the prices of everything. Look at how much logs sell for. Here I am making these assless leather chaps for literally 2 gold each. Well, I could just be chopping trees for hundreds each. But I handed in the sandwich. You better appreciate just how much work went into this, you bastard. But this leaves just one more crew member in the barbarian village. He says that before he'll help me, I need to get ripped with some barbarian training. So this montage starts playing, clearly a reference to the Rocky movies. But I always play with no music for editing purposes, so it's kind of awkward. Here, I'll fix it. There we go. Alright. I feel like a new man. Let's take the world by... Oh God. Oh, hang on. Oh, I got a stitch. But with that, the crew is assembled. We crack in the ruins, only to find nothing. Willow reveals that they're not archaeologists after all, but rather grave robbers looking for their next score. And now that I know, I need to die. Until suddenly a giant golem spawns and rolls up on us like Christopher Reeves for the next Jake Paul fight. The crew runs away in fear, leaving me to fend for myself. But I'm holding approximately 70 bananas, so this thing doesn't stand a chance. I take it down pretty easily, and a dwarf emerges, saying that he's the last of the Incando tribe, and that he needs help stocking this forge with an ore called Baronite. From what I can tell, this isn't a quest, it's more of a side area. There is a bank and a bunch of deposits here though, and a fishing spot, so it seems like a pretty nice place to grind. You can even buff various activities using the Baronite that you find, but I've seen literally no one since I've been here, so either it's bad and no one does it, or I'm just in a private instance. But he says that if you give him 750 Baronite, you can enter this place called the Great Vault, where they store all of their treasures, which sounds interesting. So I get to work, trying a few different activities, but it seems like mining is the fastest. But it still takes me like an hour to gather 750. But I finally get there and get ready to enter the vault. He says that you only have a limited amount of time, and the best treasures are in the back, so you gotta be quick. I also see that there are gates blocking the way. Some you can go through, others you can. But I start the run and I head straight towards the back, pick up a few lock boxes. Uh-oh, 30 seconds left. Better head back. Wait. Oh, I made a wrong turn. Oh my God. F you and your stupid forge. Now I see why you guys got genocided. Loser. So I exit the cave slightly more pissed off from when I entered, and I head on over back to Falador to turn in the Christmas quest. You need to match up each dog with the best fit for the owners. Sarah wants a herder, so she gets the shepherd. The hairdresser wants practice on a long-haired dog, so he gets the Yorkie. And as a reward, I got a bunch of holiday-themed items. I got these party hats, these cool shoes, which I'm actually going to rock since they're only slightly worse than my leather shoes, but 200% cooler. I also love how the dog hat cures my baldness. And what's with these crackers? Their gahalas are like 1,000 times more than anything else I've obtained. What, do they have actual crack in them? I'm kind of scared to click on them. I'm scared to touch any of this, in fact, so I'm just gonna bank most of it. And these party hats, I've heard, are like ultra rare, valuable collector's items. Or they were, at least. I can't imagine they are now if you can just get a bunch of them from a short quest. It kind of reminds me in World of Warcraft, there are a bunch of items or mounts that are incredibly coveted because they're no longer obtainable. And they're always the subject of controversy because you have side A, the people who want them re-released in some form so they can add them to their collection, and then side B who think that they should stay rare, as that's the main thing that makes them coveted to begin with. I'm personally on side B because do you know what happens when you re-release them? Nobody really gives a shit anymore, and they just become another incrementation. like the Feldrake in World of Warcraft, for example, which was originally a TCG item, but then they re-released it as a prize for some sort of Twitch promotion, because Blizzard is a small indie game dev, and they can't possibly design a new mount unless it's being sold in the cash shop for $90. Happy anniversary, by the way. You know, those are my favorite anniversaries. The ones where you celebrate by paying a large sum of money. I don't know, there's just something poetic about celebrating 20 years of one of the most beloved games of all time with a microtransaction that costs more than a fucking expansion. Actually, you know what? Speaking of that, the channel actually just passed its 10-year anniversary. I made it in 2014. That's 10 years. 700 videos, and some of you have been watching for that long. That's pretty special, I think. I love the wholesome little community that we've built here. You know what we should do? We should celebrate by everybody collectively giving me money. So the activity advisor is still down, but if you remember from forever ago, we did start a few quests, but then we got distracted and never pursued them. One of them was the Knight's Sword, where the squire lost his Knight's Sword, and he tasked me to track down an Incamdo dwarf to make another. So considering we found one now, I decided to continue that. But apparently, the one we met was even more useless than I thought, because Reldo just says that there's one on the southern peninsula of Asgarnia, and he also gives me a hint that they really like red berry pie. Oh god, more cooking. I can handle vampires and weird cultist sex dungeons, but cooking seems to be my bane. But luckily, we have the resources. Looking in the cooking guide, it gives me instructions on how to make the pie. You have to make more dough. Oh god. Put it in an empty pie tin, then add the ingredients, and then bake it. Well, there's an empty pie tin right here. That's convenient. I know how to make the dough now, and red berries are in the Port Sarum store. While I'm here, I check out the magic shop. I ran out of law runes for my Varric teleport, but she doesn't seem to sell any. But I do pick up an Eye of Newt, which if you remember we need for that Cook's Quest, the recipe for disaster, which we got forever ago. Although I don't know where you get the other materials, so I'll just have to bank it for now. And I also picked up this cool wizard hat, which increases my magic damage, so I'll have to save that for when I level more magic. But I pick up the red berries and boom, comma, baby. Beautiful gameplay. Heading to the southern peninsula, I do find the dwarf, just like Reldo said. Feed him the pie. He agrees to help, but obviously doesn't know what the sword looks like, so we have to go retrieve a picture of it, which can be found back at Falador. After that, he says he needs a couple of iron bars and blurite, which can be found in the mountain next to him and is guarded by ice giants. I go check it out, and this place is teeming with players for some reason. It must be a pretty good grinding spot. So while the giants are distracted, I sneak in and I grab the blurite. As for the iron, I get that from a deposit just outside of Port Sarum, bring it back to Lumbridge to smelt it, bring it back to the dwarf, make the sword, and on my way back to deliver it back to Falador, I found another quest called the Witch's Potion, which requires an Eye of Newt, which we just got, which is convenient. We need a rat's tail, which I got just nearby, an onion, which was just north, and some burnt meat. Oh, burnt meat? Oh, that's convenient. The quest is to actually F it up. That's amazing. So while we got that queued up, I deliver the sword and hell yeah. Alright, I got the hang of this game now. That's quest 18 for those counting at home. More than 10% complete now. And I really haven't hit a snag, aside from the very first one I started, I guess. They're still really time consuming though, and I'll point out again here, if you know what materials to bring, this is a 5-minute quest, but if you don't, it's so much back and forth, so while it takes me like 1 minute to explain it, there's potentially hours of gameplay and walking and accidentally eating the goddamn bread that you guys aren't seeing. But anyways, I hearth back to Lumbridge and burn some meat, return it to the witch, and it's another one down. So going down my quest list and continuing another one we've already started, we also have the Shield of Arav, which, if you remember, Reldo told us to go talk to Barak the Fur Trader for the whereabouts of the Phoenix gang that stole the shield. He tells me that I can find it southeast of the Blue Moon Inn, and I start checking around. I check the second floor of this building and find nothing, but I do see this guy next door next to some crossbows, which will be important in a second. Eventually I find this ladder leading to the gang's hideout, and they ask me to kill Johnny the Beard in the inn, which, if you remember from episode 0, we accidentally murdered him. Hey, do you know where I can find... Oh my fucking god! He's meeting with the rival gang, the Black Arms, and they want an intel report from him, so this time we intentionally murder him. Wait, are we the baddies? Why does this man deserve death? Oh, I see. He's bald. But with that, I'm accepted into the gang, and I look for the shield. I find this chest here that has the shield, but only half of it. The leader says that the Black Arms stole the other half, and I have to infiltrate their hideout, but now being a public member of the Phoenix, I'm barred entry. The quest says to just turn the half in to the Varick Museum, which is on the east side of town, but as a reward, I'm only given half of the certificate saying that I returned it. I tell the curator of my plight, and he says that I need to seek the aid of another adventurer for the other half, and then we use our certificates on each other, making this a group quest. Oh no. I have to interact socially with someone? Okay, I'm quitting for 2 years. Oh, wait a second though. I still have my first account. Yeah, the one before I switched over to Ironman mode. And he just happened to be on the Black Arms side of things, which I must have done when I first started a couple of months ago. It says that I need 2 Phoenix crossbows, which you'll remember were on the 2nd floor of the adjacent building. So I get my characters over there. Hey, who's that handsome devil over there? So I go in, try to loot the crossbows, kill the weapon master for insubordination, loot the crossbows, and then trade them to my first account by using them like the curator said. Switch over, turn those in, get the second half, turn it in, trade certificates, boom, quest complete. And I didn't even have to interact with anyone. Who needs friends when you have 2 accounts and crippling social anxiety? Happy New Year's, by the way. It's a new era.
Of loneliness. Oh god.
Dragons and the Dawn of the MMO. Name a more iconic duo. Seriously, if you had an MMORPG during this time, it had to have dragons. Ever since Ultima Online, EverQuest, dragons. Star Wars Galaxies, dragons. Guild Wars, dragons. World of Warcraft even got in on it before they had ever even rendered a model for Onyxia. At the end of one of their gameplay trailers, there was this random generic CGI dragon to hype people up, and nothing that even resembled it made it into the actual game.
Whoa, that's cool.
But it makes sense. Firmly cemented in medieval fantasy, these were the ultimate end bosses for pretty much every MMORPG of this golden era, and RuneScape was no different. And in 2001, Jagex released the quest to trump all quests. Today, I'm not only going to show you how to slay a dragon in old school RuneScape, I'm going to show you how to do it with style. Alright, Dragon Slayer, medium length and experienced. Ladies. So this looks interesting. Normally, from my experience, dragons are like end game bosses. Like in World of Warcraft, for example, the first one that most people fought was, of course, Onyxia, which was a max level 60 raid. It required 40 people working together and coordinating, so they didn't lose 50 DKP because they didn't know what the fuck to do. And even that had an insanely long attunement chain. I wonder, is there even raids in this game? Everything I've run into so far has been soloable. Well, I guess aside from the Shield of Arav quest, but then again, I would say I'm still in the early stages of leveling, so I really have no idea. But looking at the requirements, it says I should first get 33 magic and 45 combat level. Oh my god. Okay, this must be kind of tough. Why 33 magic, I wonder though? I guess we need this telekinesis at some point. So I put on my robe and wizard hat. Yeah, look how cool I look. I'm like the Wish.com version of Gandalf. Wait, why are you standing so close behind me? Ah, go away. Alright, just for that, I'm gonna have to murder all of your kin. Yes, I will be grinding my way to 33 magic and 45 combat on cows. mainly for the cowhide, so that way I can also level my crafting and also make some gold along the way for armor, which I'm sure we will need. They also drop bones, which is nice, so I can level my prayer. And the meat I can cook to stock up on heals. And with the bank just across the river, every time I fill up my bags, I can just drop off. And it looks like I'm not the only one with this idea. We got a regular cow farming orgy going on. This is going to be a grind, but this game doesn't know who it's dealing with. And actually, from what I've heard, neither do a lot of you guys. Something that's been passed to me is that some people have doubts that I'll be able to complete this challenge and that I don't know what I've gotten myself into. And to those people, I have to respectfully say, listen here, comma, you little shits. I'm not sure if I've ever said this before, but you're talking to the grand mother effing Marshal here, okay? 12 hours a day, every day, for 3 months. World first 300 fishing and Bloodstill Admiral and the recreation of a 15-year-old video game, by the way. And I also played all of the Warlords of Draenor expansion start to finish. None of this takes skill, just excess time and a skewed value on priorities. But hey, that's my specialty. You know, with over 500 World of Warcraft videos, you wouldn't think people would doubt just how autistic I am. I'm about to show you just who exactly the F you're dealing with here, okay? I am the monotone madness. Now, that being out of the way, let's go kill a fucking dragon. .44 combat level, 33 magic, 1,041 cowhides, 1,025 steaks. I processed a bunch of the cowhides to leather to make some more gold, and in the process of doing so, I leveled my crafting to 40, which you may remember was the requirement to get into the Crafters Guild, which I was locked out of. Ever since then, I've been curious to see just what the F they have in there, so let's go check that out first. Alright, doucher. Here's your damn 40 crafting. You need a brown apron? Are you... What the F? You didn't say that last time. You know, why is it so hard to get into this place? What mysteries are held within? What's after the brown apron, I wonder? Oh, you need the Eye of Glutko and 72 bananas. Ah, of course. Brown apron. I'll show you a brown apron. Whatever. let's just start the Dragon Slayer. This can be found in the Champions Hall, just south of Varric. Luckily, I can just walk into this building. I don't need a magical hat or a secret handshake and my firstborn child as payment. So this is the Champions Guild, which is a very important building for a couple of reasons. First is that this is where we get to the Dragon Slayer quest, which gives you the ability to wear rune armor. So as you've probably guessed by now, there are many tiers of armor in this game. Bronze, iron, steel, mithril, adamant, and lastly we have rune. The latter seems to be the most powerful for melee defense, although it looks like heavier armors also reduce your magic and range defense, whereas lighter armor such as leather increases them. So it's probably wise to have a mix of both and then just switch between them depending on what type of content you're doing. But the rune chest is special apparently because you can't just buy it. You have to earn the right to wear it through this quest, and he sends me to a guy named Oziak, who he says lives in the cliffs northwest of Edgeville. As for the other reason why this building is important, it's also where you can buy rune gear. There's some vendors upstairs that sell rune swords and legs, which I assume you can just equip without needing to do a quest. They're ludicrously expensive, of course, so they're not anything that we can afford at the moment. But looking at their Gahalas, they're by far the best that I've seen. So if it comes to it, we may have to farm some money for them to kill this dragon. But they do also have some dragon hide armor, or D-hide. That's dragon hide, right? Maybe it's Dusher hide, I don't know. But considering that I'm still using the base leather gloves, I imagine these Vam braces would be a pretty good upgrade, and they're only 2,500, so I buy them up. Wait, oh my god. You need a ranged of 40? You know, I feel like these should come with a warning when you're buying them that you can't, like, equip them. Some bullcrap. Okay, well, my ranged is level 1, so that's definitely not happening. Not yet, at least, so let's just sell them back. Oh, good. Well, thanks for taking my money for no reason. But she does also have this cape, which I buy, which I don't think does anything, but it makes me a little bit more colorful. Nothing wrong with having a colorful armor set, am I right? It kind of reminds me in World of Warcraft, specifically vanilla, before the era of transmog. While there were gear sets in the game that, of course, all matched each other, certain specs like DPS Warrior didn't have any, and they were forced to get a random mishmash of off pieces, and as a result, the term clown suit was born for obvious reasons. In fact, that's what my channel avatar is based around. A lot of people ask me about this. What you're looking at is the best in slot-ish for two-handed Fury Warriors for the Blackwing Lair phase, aside from the chest, I guess, which is first boss of AQ40. Yeah, these are the armaments of a hero of Azeroth. I happened to have this rolling as my transmog when I made the channel back in 2014, and some guy in the comments said it looked horrible, so despite that one guy, I've been rocking it ever since. Yes, I am that petty. But anyways, let's find Oziak. Okay, cliffs northwest of Edgeville. Does it mean these? This mountain? There's a woman named the Oracle who just speaks in riddles. Does he mean her? Well, there's no dialogue, so I guess not. What about this temple? Maybe he's a monk? No. Oh. Wait. This isn't northwest of Edgeville. This is northwest Edgeville. Okay, whatever. Hopefully that doesn't become a thing where the directions are like, you know, incorrect. So, Oziak is quite annoyed at this point with adventurers bugging him all the time. Kind of makes sense if you think about it. The life of an NPC is kind of boring. You do the same thing every single day, serving the interests of other people with no real freedom on how you actually spend your time.
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes, dear.
Coming to bed, honey?
Yes, dear.
So he tries to get rid of us by sending us on a quest that he thinks is impossible. Kill the Dragon of Crandor. Returning to the Guildmaster, he says that in a suspiciously familiar story, the land of Crandor was once a thriving community of mages and adventurers until one day a hapless adventurer awoke the dragon, Alvarg, and in a fit of rage it burnt down the entire kingdom of Crandor, leaving no survivors except a trio of wizards. Kind of like Game of Thrones, except with less incest, allegedly. The 3 wizards were named Thalzar, Lozar, and Melzar, who, because they were the last ones alive, they were the only ones left who knew the location of the lost island of Grandor. They held a map that led back through the dangerous reefs that protected the island, but in order to prevent further death, they split it into 3 parts and hid them away. For one, I'm pointed towards the oracle that we just found moments ago. Another is in a maze north of Rimington, and the last one was in Lumbridge before it was stolen by goblins, and I'm told that someone in the goblin village might know about it. Additionally, in order to reach the island, we will need a ship and a captain to steer it, which he says can be found in Port Sarum. And lastly, we need to talk to the Duke of Lumbridge to get a magical shield that protects against the dragon's fire. Okay, wow, seems like a lot. I first start with the oracle since we just met her. Alright, the map's behind a door below, but entering is rather tough. This is what you need to know. You must use the following stuff: a drink used by a mage, worm string changed to a sheet, a small crustacean cage, and a bowl that's not seen heat. What the fuck are you talking about? What? Door below? Does she mean this one that I found during Dork's quest? Well, there's a chest inside and a receptacle to put stuff in, so I guess so. So we have a riddle. Oh god. We have to find items that match these descriptions. I do have a bowl in my bank. As for the crustacean cage, I also have a lobster pot that I bought from Port Sarum when I was leveling my fishing. Haven't found a use for it yet. As for the drink for a mage, I don't know, a beer? Mages can be depressed just like anyone else, right? Makes sense. And as for the worm string, let's try the fishing net. Worms are associated with bait, and the net is sheet-like. I don't know, is that stupid? Let's try it. So as you'll see, the last piece of adamant that I'm missing is the chest. There is a plate body shop in Varick, but they don't sell it. But I do see that they have studded armor, which I now know how to make. It costs 750, which I think it means it sells for half of that, 375, which is like 5 times more than the coifs that I've been making. The only problem is that the studs are blacksmithing, which I don't have leveled enough, so I'd have to farm that a little bit first. But that'll definitely be my next hustle whenever I need gold. And I do remember that the Champions Guild sells an adamant chest actually, but unfortunately I don't have the money for it right now, so I'll just have to process my cowhides later and earn some gold for that. Oh, it's so slow. You know what? I usually skip the walk for you guys, but this time you're gonna suffer through it with me. Yep. What? You want me to talk? Okay, how about a joke? So, a moth walks into a podiatrist's office. The podiatrist asks, "What's the problem?" The moth says, "Where do I begin with my problems? Every day I go to work for Gregory Vasilovich, and all day long I toil. But what is my work? I am a bureaucrat, and so every day I joylessly move papers from one place to another, and then back again. I no longer know what it is that I actually do. I don't even think Gregory Vasilovich knows. He only knows that he has power over me, and this seems to bring him much happiness. And where's my happiness? It's when I awake in the morning and I don't know who I am. In that single moment, I'm happy. And then the memory of who I am strikes me like a cane, and I take to the streets and walk in a malaise here and then there, and then here again. Then it is time for work. Others stopped asking me what I do for a living long ago, for they know I will have no answer, and will fix my empty eyes upon them. They fear that my melancholia might prove to be so deep as to be contagious. Sometimes in the dark, in the deepest dark of the night, I awaken in my bed, and I turn to my right, and with horror, I see some old lady lying on my arm. An old lady that I once loved, Doc, in whose flesh I once found splendor and now see only decay. An old lady who insults me by her very existence. Once, Doc, when I was young, I flew into a spider web and was trapped. In my panic, I smashed my wings till dust flew from them, but it did not free me, and only alerted the spider. The spider moved towards me, and I became still. Then the spider stopped. I had heard many stories from my elders about spiders, about how they would sink their fangs into your cephalothorax and you'd be paralyzed but aware as the spider slowly devoured you. So I remained as still as possible, but when the spider again began moving towards me, I smashed my wing again into my cage of silk, and this time it worked. I cut into the web and I freed myself and flew skyward. I was free and filled with joy, but this joy soon turned to horror. I looked down and I saw in my escape I had taken with me a single strand of silk, and at the end of that strand was the spider scrambling up towards me. Was I to die high in the sky where no spider should be? I flew this way, then that. Finally, I freed myself from the strand and I watched as it floated earthward with the spider. But days later, a strange feeling descended upon my soul, Doc. I began to feel that my entire life was that single strand of silk with a deadly spider racing up it and towards me. And I had felt that I had already been bitten by its venomous fangs, and I was living in a state of paralysis as life devoured me whole. My daughter, Alexandria, fell to the cold of last winter. The cold took her, as it did many of us, and so my family mourned, and I placed upon my countenance the look of grief, Doc. But it was a masquerade. I felt no grief for my dead daughter, but only envy. And so I have one child now, a boy whose name is Stefan Mikhailovich Smakovnikov. And I'll tell you now, Doc, with great and deep shame, the terrible truth. I no longer love him. When I look into his eyes, all I see is the same cowardice that I see when I catch a glimpse of my own eyes in a mirror. It is this cowardice that keeps me living, Doc, that keeps me moving from place to place, saying hello and goodbye, eating, though hunger has long left me, walking without destination, and at night, lying beside the strange old lady in this burlesque of a life that I endure. If only the cowardice would leave me for the time needed to reach over and pick up the cocked and loaded pistol that lies on my bedside table, and I might finally end this facade once and for all. But alas, the cowardice takes no breaks. It is what defines me. It is what frames my life. It is what I am. And yet I cannot resign myself to my own life. Instead, with despair as my constant companion, as I walk here and then there, without dreams, without hope, and without love. Moth, says the podiatrist, your tale has moved me, and it is clear that you need help, but it is help I cannot provide. You must see your psychiatrist and tell him of your troubles. Why on earth did you come to my office? The moth replies, because the light was on. Okay, so the lobster pot worked, which confirms two things. One, this is the right door, and two, this was the crustacean cage. It even marks it off in the quest log. So let's try the bowl. Nope. Fishing net. Nope. Beer. Oh my. Okay, now I actually need a beer. Well, actually, a drink used by a mage. For that grave robbing quest, we had to recruit that team to open the tomb. One of them was the dwarf, who I got to join by buying him a drink. When doing so, you were given 3 choices, and one of them was like the mage's mind bomb. So let's go try that. Yeah, see, the wizard's mind bomb. And while I'm over here, I ask the goblin generals what they know about the other map piece, and they say that the goblin who has it is named Wormbrain, and he got caught and is being held in the Port Sarum jail. So I very carefully used the drink on the door, and that's 204 down. So I got 2 ideas. The bowl did not work, but you can craft one at level 8 crafting in the pottery section. There are clay deposits in the game, and from my time farming the barbarians, I remember there was a pottery wheel there. To make pottery, you need to apply heat to clay. At least that's how it works in real life. So considering how detail-oriented the cooking is, I'm going to assume it's the same for pottery. So maybe the bowl I tried was just one step ahead, and if I take some clay to the pottery wheel and do it raw, that might work. And as for the worm string, the only thing that jumps out to me, again, is fishing. The small fishing net didn't work, but there's also this large one that I can try, so we'll head to the fishing shop in Port Sarum and try that. Wait, what the F is going on here? Did I start a trend or something? What kind of idiot doesn't know that armor reduces your magic damage? Imagine being bad at video games. There's no large fishing net. I can see it in my fishing skill menu, but it's not sold here, I guess. Well, there goes that idea. I guess let's just try the goblin. 10,000 gold for the map piece? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, just kill the bastard. Okay, there's the map piece, but I can't reach it. Oh, come on, just stick your staff in there or something. Try the guard. Nope. No pickpocket option. But wait a second. Remember the quest said that you needed 33 magic as a requirement. So this must be where you grab it telekinetically. But only problem? I'm out of La runes, and the magic shops don't sell them. At some point I got some, but I used them all on Varric teleports, and I have no idea where I got them from.
1 hour later.
Alright, so I just got done combing through hours and hours of footage, tracing back from when I used the teleports, and I found out that I got them from the barbarians that I was grinding for attack levels to equip the green popsicle stick. So I got two choices. I can either farm more of them or pay the 10,000 gold, considering I already took the time to track them down, much like a World of Warcraft player who spent $10,000 in the cash shop. Told you so, by the way. I'm in the sunk cost fallacy pretty hard, so I'm just gonna go farm them. And like I said, there's also the pottery wheel in the same village, so it'll be kind of convenient, actually. Oh, you need water? You know what? I'm surprised there's no, like, food and water meter in this game. Where's the patch where your characters have a bowel movement once a day, and if you don't wipe, you get a rash? Good lord. Okay, I'll shut up and get the water. Okay. And hey, unfired bowl. So that's most definitely it. So now let's just commit some light genocide for a La rune. You know what's awesome? I farmed magic all the way up to 25 to get the teleport to save time, only to waste runes that are crucial for a quest that I now need, forcing me to waste far more time than I ever would have saved. That's some beautiful gameplay. But it wasn't too bad, actually. It only took about 20 minutes. During my farm, I was thinking about the last riddle, the worm string changed to a sheet, and I was thinking maybe silk, like a silkworm string. Yeah, you ever see how they make silk? They take a bunch of silk from their cocoons and weave it all together. It's kind of like humanity, endlessly weaving the fragile threads of our existence, with each strand being a silent testament to our toil. We labor without question, driven by instinct, or maybe perhaps the weight of purpose imposed upon us, blind to the truth that our delicate and intimate creations are not our own. And when the loom is bare and the silk claimed by unseen hands, we too are cast aside, our usefulness consumed, and our essence discarded. We become ghosts of our own making, quiet casualties of fleeting beauty spun from suffering, forgotten as the world moves on, draped in the finery of our sacrifice. Oh, excuse me. So while doing my crafting in a desert town, I noticed that there was a silk vendor. So I used the unfired bowl. It works because I'm a genius, of course. Go to the jail, telekinesis the map piece, desert town, get the silk. Examining it says it's a sheet. Use it on the door. B-E-A, beautiful gameplay. There's a message inscribed on the chest that he used all of his magical skill to keep it from being recovered. Yeah, I used all of my magical might, barring entry with common household items that anyone could get. So that's 2 of 3 map pieces. The last one is north of Remington. There's that stupid Crafters Guild. Bastards. Screw you and your stupid club. I don't want to be in it. Strangle you with your brown aprons. While I'm here, I find an NPC that will change your appearance if you want to. I choose not to because, much like in real life, I'm already the perfect specimen, but he does give me this medallion that I can wear. This seems familiar. There's also this wizard tower. Is this it? Trespassing? No, Q. Oh my god. Are you... Fuck you. Okay, this must be it. All of the doors are locked and the ladders are broken. There's a trap door outside, but I can't enter it. I start killing the rats and one of them drops a key. I use it on a door to enter a room of ghosts with 4 orange doors now. So I start killing them until one of them drops a key. And I use it on this southernmost and... Oh shit. Okay, so I guess this is the maze part of this. Makes sense. These ladders are one way basically, and if you choose wrong, you start over from the beginning. So I kill more ghosts, get another key, and this time before going up, I take a sneaky print screen. So this way I can kind of tell where I'm going to drop. Okay, so that ladder leads straight back, leaving the only one in the far corner, meaning that the 2 doors on the opposite sides are linked. So let's just go up this one. Okay, so skeletons this time with green doors. Alright, so starting to see a pattern. One of these is going to have a key, right? Okay, so it's the one with the buckler. It looks like the unique looking enemies out of all of them hold the key, so it's not completely random. So I used it on the furthest door here, which leads down to a pit. Oh my god. What is that? Oh my god, it's a giant demon. This is bad. I only have like 5 pork chops. Okay. I killed the zombie, which gives me the first key. And then there's this wizard with a foot fetish who spawns cabbage for me. Hey, free food. I'll take it. Alright, demon time. Let's wait for our debuffs to wear off. This thing looks pretty, I don't know, powerful? Swole? F it. Let's do this. Cue the boss music. Okay. Good. Take it. Ow. Ow! Oh my god, fuck, run! Run. Oh wait, he's stuck. He's stuck. He doesn't like this part of the room. Okay, let's unequip and do magic. Wait, are you stuck or what? He's psyching me out right now. Alright, eat this. Oh, don't run up to him, oh my god! Ah! Okay, he's scared. Okay, eat the meat. Here. Okay, run. Alright, eat it. Don't melee him, you fucking idiot! Oh my god. Okay. Good. Oh, 14 damage. Yeah, take it. Okay, I have no heals. This is it. Okay, it looks like this is the safe spot. Alright, pump him. That sounded wrong. Okay. Whew. Smooth. And in the chest, the final map piece. Okay, so that's the map completed. Wait. Oh. That's a penis. Yeah. That's totally... Why is there an erect cock right here? Great, I did all of this for a dick pic. But that is the map done, which now leaves just the ship, the captain, and the shield. So considering how amazing magic is, I think it's probably time to stock up. I buy a ton of runes for each school, except for Chaos, which are 90 gold each, which is absolutely insane, and I'm not paying that. I'll just stick with the little baby bolts for now. I also pick up some elemental staves. My guess is that they buff whatever element you're casting. Obviously you want to use fire for fire, water for water, but for now I can only afford water, fire, and air, so I'll have to get earth sometime later. And with that, I'm broke again, which is awesome. But next we head on over to Lumbridge and ask the Duke for the shield, and he just gives it to us. That's it. No riddles, no map collecting. He just hands it over. Well, that was easy. It's actually better than my bronze shield too, so I'm just gonna rock it for now. Okay, so last, that means we just have to hit up Port Sarum for a ship and a captain. I checked the bar, but there aren't any takers crazy enough to go to the Dragon Island. This guy in the dock says that he'll sell me one for 2,000 gold, but there are 2 problems. 1, I'm broke now, so I have to farm gold, and 2, there's a giant hole in it and it's in need of repairs. So I process more cowhides into coifs, get the gold, purchase it, and it even comes with its own cabin boy. I ask him if he can pilot it, to which he says no, but he knows someone who can. The rope seller who helped me out with the Bebop quest. I ask him if he's up for the task, which he is, but obviously I need to repair the boat first. He tells me that I need wooden planks and steel nails to patch it up. The planks I know from Gertrude's quest, where we found the cat in the sawmill. The operator there will make planks for me if I give him wood, so that's all fine. But steel nails, unfortunately, I'm a couple points off from making, which means I need to level my blacksmithing a bit, which is painfully slow. The levels really crawl at this point, and for steel you need 1 iron ore and 2 coal, so it's essentially 3 ores for 1 bar, and the coal takes like forever to mine. Wait, what the F? Okay, why is there a clown putting his wiener in a present? No, I'm not joking, look. His wiener is in the present. Oh my god. So I'm mining so slowly, probably because I'm still using a bronze pickaxe. There is a pickaxe vendor in the Dwarven Mine who sells better ones, all the way up to Rune, which I can't use because I actually checked this time. Not that it matters because it costs 32,000 effing gold, but I do pick up the adamant pickaxe, which helps greatly. So I start making steel stuff for skillups, and when I go to sell, I wander into the clothes shop, and I find the brown apron, funny enough. Okay, well, let's see if we can finally enter the Crafters Guild. Okay, doucher, we meet again. Don't you dare bar me entry. Oh, okay. Well, it's a Crafters Guild. There are different benches here, like pottery wheels and looms. There are also these precious metal veins. There are cows and a bank nearby, which is actually pretty convenient. The crappy thing with the Lumbridge spot is that the bank is all the way across the river and up 2 floors, so there's a lot of wasted time just walking from point A to point B. So it'll be nice to... Wait, I can't use the bank? Oh my god. Yeah, that's right. One final kick in the balls with this cursed place. To use the bank, you need to complete your achievement diary. And I don't even know where to begin with half this crap, which makes this whole crafting guild saga a complete waste of my time.
Okay, but that's the last straw.
So I get to 34 blacksmith and make some nails, patch up the hole, find out I need to do it 2 more times, make more nails to patch it up, and the old girl is sea ready. I go fetch Ned and load up on sandwiches. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Shit, I didn't reload my prayer. Oh, and I forgot my strength potion. Can we go back? Wait, how's this thing moving? It doesn't have a sail. Oh, fire everywhere! No, Jenkins! Alright. Smooth. Okay, so am I to assume that this is a one-shot deal? What happens if I die? I have no more boat. Oh, I should have brought more sandwiches. Wow. Oh, just run. Run. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. Okay, Elvarg. Taste my blade. Quick! Eat an entire steak sandwich in combat. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wow. Wow. Dude, this fire hurts. Oh, 3 damage? Are you joking me? This thing is effing me up. Oh, come on, hit him! Oh, God. Fire hot. Oh, eat. Eat. Just keep eating. Okay, run. Yeah, run. Just run. Oh, good. Giant demons. Oh, please let me through this. Well, that went well. Okay, so I'm stuck in a fire cavern surrounded by demons with 2 sandwiches. Wait, we're in Karamja? Yeah, it says I completed a medium task in Karamja, and that'll also remember the secret door for future reference. Okay, so obviously that didn't go too well. We need to do a little regrouping here and restock on heals. There's no way that you only get 1 shot at this. That would just be insane. So this must be a back door on Karamja, right? Let's try to find the exit here. Okay. Yeah, not the exit. Oh god, dude. Please save me. Alright, let's just hearth back and regroup. Is Ned just dead, by the way? Do I, need a new cabin boy now? Okay, so the ship is still there in the port. I just need to repair it again. But I'm pretty sure we just unlocked a shortcut on Karamja, so we'll just try that first. Alright, so we have a few options here. Like I said, we don't have the adamant chest yet, so that'll probably be a big help. The only issue is that it costs 21,000 gold, which is insane, so I would need to get one more blacksmith level, then make studs, and then make and sell these studded armor because the coifs are just going to take forever. I could also just grind more. I seem to be hitting like once every 10 effing swings, which isn't very ideal. So I decided to first pursue the adamant chest, so I started making and selling steel gear. And it's here I realized that vendor prices aren't set into stone. Yeah, no kidding. Look here. Look here! Look, listen! So these steel swords sell for 130 each, right? But then I sold a bunch. You can see he has 23 in stock. And now he only pays 32 gold each. Which means that this entire time I've been farming gold, I've been completely effing myself over by getting a fraction of what I'm supposed to be getting. Beautiful gameplay. The trick that I found is to just sell a few, and then layer hop to a fresh shop, and then rinse and repeat. It takes a while, but I eventually get to the level to where I can make studs, and the gold really piles in now because these suckers sell for 340 each. So I farm up almost 40k, get the chest, which is a huge boost. Like plus 50 in stab, slash, and crush. So now we got this. I load up on heals, strength pot, refilled prayer, and I'm also ditching magic this time to make more room for heals. I actually find Ned again, and he tells me that he got towed back by a friendly passing whale. Oh, well, thanks for leaving me to die. But like I said, I don't think we need them because we unlocked a shortcut in Karamja, and looking at the map, I see that just south of Krandor in the Karamja volcano is a dungeon entrance, so if my suspicions are correct, that'll just lead us back to the dragon. And if that doesn't work, I suppose I'll just have to repair the ship again and sail back. But I go to Karamja, and unsurprisingly I find out that I'm a genius. I was right. Alright, you bastard. Prepare to feel the heat. The heat of the monotone madness. Oh my god. Dude, this thing is ridiculous. I got him to like a quarter that time, but he just keeps spamming that effing fire, and it just burns through all of my heals. You ever play a fighting game against a friend or a sibling, and they just use the same move over and over again, but they just keep doing it because you don't know how to counter it?
Oh my god.
Go easy on me, okay? I'm new. You just go easy on me. I'm new to the game.
Welcome to the real world. This is the real world. You learned it early, son.
That's all you ever do in your house?
Yeah, it's basically what this guy does, except I can't just unplug his controller and punch him. I think maybe another issue is that my food sucks. Remember, I can fish up salmon at this point, and I think they heal for more than these sandwiches and pork chops, so this time I farm up a full inventory of those and get my prayer going. This time, for sure. Okay, so I only got him like to 80%. What the F? This is some rock'em sock'em robot bullcrap. Alright, the last thing I can think of is in the Champions Hall there was a rune longsword, but there's two problems. One, I need 40 attack level, and I'm at like 35. And two, it's 32,000 mother effing gold, which means that we have to farm, and oh my god, we have to farm. We have to kill every single cow in Gielinor, not just for the XP even, but also for the hide, so we can even afford it. This is a real hero's journey right here. We had a rise, then our extended fall, and this would be a rebirth. Wait, what's this? Why not? I suppose this will keep me sane. Wait, why do they have the Trump dance in this game? Wow. So after many cows and a couple of beers, we have reached attack level 40 and make another steel run and flood every single world with studded chests. And boom, blue popsicle stick, full inventory. Every moment in my life has led up to this. I can't fail now. This is for my 3.6% female viewing audience. Oh my god, stop spamming. Bruh. Okay. Good. Good hits. You fuck. Okay, this isn't bad actually. He's already half and I have a lot of fish left. Okay. Repositioning. Oh, come on. Hit him. It's a giant dragon. How can he miss? Oh, my prayer ran out. Dude, I haven't hit him in like 20 swings. Oh, Dude, this dragon fire is like ridiculously OP. What the F? Oh my god. Oh, crit city, baby. Run. No, kill. Stay. Oh god. Oh my god. I had like a 20 long streak of misses. What the F? This is a bullcorn. I think I got it. I just need to get lucky. No more grinding. Let's just stock up again and give it another go. Alrighty, effer. Now I'm mad. Wait, what? Why is he at half? Does he not regen? Oh yeah. Get wrecked, you fire spamming bitch. Good. Yeah, die. Oh, you rip its head off?
Oh, that's so fucking metal!
Well, that was an ordeal. Hey, there's like a secret passage here. What's up with that? Do you need a mining pick or something? This is a secret wall, right? So we return to the guildmaster, who says that if I go back to Oziak, he'll now sell me the armor. Wait, what? Sell it to me? I just killed a dragon and I still have to buy it? This is some ridiculous bullcorn. Wait, 2 quest points for that? That's ridiculous. It took me like a week to do. Oh, it cost 84,000 gold? Great. Well, to be honest, that was awesome. You know when you're playing a game or watching a movie and there's like this one moment where you can pinpoint where you really fell in love with it? I already like this game, but that was legitimately one of the best quests I've ever done in any MMO ever. Yeah, I'm gonna glaze this game hard. There was puzzle solving, exploration, grinding, and a tough battle to top it all off. It felt like an adventure. Prime example of what a quest should be, in my opinion. And you can't pin this on nostalgia. I know it's hard to tell, but this is my first time playing this game. It's kind of bittersweet that a quest that was made in 2001 has more heart and character than any other I've done in any modern MMO in the past 10 years. But that's what this game does really well. It does a very good job of immersing you and giving you direction without flat out telling you the solutions. And if you are able to resist the urge to look it up, you're left with a really accomplished and immersive feeling.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.